Well, and welcome to the racecourse. Welcome to Wrexham. I'm Mark Griffiths, and I'll be joined by Mia Roberts and Waynne Phillips for this Vertu Trophy round of 32 match. In fact, let's get things cracking instantly by saying that you can get in touch with us using the hashtag AskWrexham, ASKWXM on Twitter or Blue Sky. And if you... I put an idea out, but I've got a different idea. What is the name for the round of 32? It's an awful name, isn't it? We need a better name than that. You've got the final, the semi-finals, then the quarter-finals, but then the round of 16, round of 32, too dull, too prosaic. Let's get cracking, people. You can come up with a good name for the round of 32 and stick it on Ask Wrexham alongside all the other sweet stuff that you send over, and we'll be delighted to chew the fat and look at them. Wrexham, as expected, 11 changes, no shock about that. Maybe though some surprises in the actual makeup of the team. The big surprise, essentially, Paul Mullin doesn't start. I think a lot of people have thought, I certainly did, that this was liable to be a chance for him to get 90 minutes under his belt and hopefully get into the goal-scoring swing of things again. Well, we haven't selected him. He's on the bench. Apart from that, not really too many shops. The other surprise, I suppose, for me, George Dobson starts. I kind of suspected Dobson and McLean would start next Saturday. McLean isn't in the squad at all. So Dobson starting slightly surprises me, but well, let's see. I don't think that rules him out on next Saturday by any chance. So, like I said, a very unfamiliar look to Wrexham's side, although we have such strength in depth that it still is a formidable 11. Although in goal, of course, that strength and depth has dissolved. Not so long ago, we were talking about how remarkable it was to have four keepers of the calibre of Arthur Okonkwo, Mark Howard, Callum Burton and Liam Hall and Luke McNicholas at our disposal, the Hall as well. Well, we've only got Howard available now, and we were never going to play him in this game, because although you can get emergency loans in between windows, it's a right faff, and especially because we're still under the jurisdiction of the Welsh FA, which means we'd have to get international clearance. So if Howard played today and got injured, we frankly would not be able to, well, possibly would not be able to get the paperwork of the emergency loan through in time. So that Wrexham lineup features debutant goalkeeper Bradley Foster between the sticks, and it'll be his first game at a higher level than the National League North. He played 4 games there for Rushall Olympic and let in 7 goals, but let's not judge him on that. Rushall didn't do well that season, so I don't think we should judge him on that alone. The back three is how expected. Tom O'Connor on the left, Dan Scarr in the middle, Aaron James on the right. The 2 wing backs, Anthony Ford playing as a wing back, he's been playing in midfield in this competition, and Jacob Mendy on the left. Centre of midfield, as I said, is anchored by Dobson. Either side, 2 players will be interesting to look at. James Jones, who's had very little opportunity this season and has had a niggling injury which has kept him out in recent weeks. Good to see him back. And Josh Adam, who has only played once for us, of course, and looked very promising at Port Vale. A tidy, creative midfielder. Up front, the combination is Jon Daddy Bodvarsson and Mo Farl. The bench is strong. We've got Liam Hall there. It's the first time he's been in a matchday squad. And then alongside him, players who will all be hoping or expecting to play next Saturday. So Max Cleworth, Seb Brevin, Andy Cannon, Elliot Lee, Paul Mullin and Ollie Palmer as outcome the teams. Dan Scarr leading us out. Hang on, has he captained us before? That means 5 captains this season. It's quite something, isn't it? We are really going through that armband's getting passed around a lot. Will Boyle, of course, would have worn it in our last match in this competition, but got injured in the warm-up. As for Crewe, they've also gone for a hybrid side, a bit stronger than ours in terms of their regular 11. They've got their first choice keeper in goal, Philip Marshall, who's on loan from Aston Villa. Now then, I reckon they're lining up with a back three. James Connolly, Lewis Billington and Zach Williams. Connolly and Williams also started on Saturday. Wing-backs Charlie Finney and Jamie Knight-Lebel, although he could play in the middle as well. He's on loan from Bristol City. In midfield, Owen Lunt, Cian Breckin on loan from Man City, and Jack Powell, who of course is well known, a quality player who, well, things haven't quite gone his way in his career for a number of reasons, and he's had a terrible injury. His last start was a year last October, so he starts today and will be desperate to show that he can get up to speed. Up front for them, Fryn Roberts and Adrien Thibault, a couple of youngsters who nevertheless have got some experience. So a bit of a hybrid team from Crewe, but more regular first teamers than Wrexham have selected, especially at the back. In fact, only at the back, really. So should be interesting, this, as Waynne and Mere have completed their pitch-side work, and up here now joining me. It's a funny one, this competition, isn't it, really? But nonetheless, there's potential. If we get through this, we're going to we'll be deep in the competition then. Might pick a stronger side.
Yeah, good evening, Mark. Yes, it's got a purpose. As we've seen in all rounds, in all games up to now, 11 changes. There was that poor Vale. Will Boyle got injured, which meant Max Cleworth came in and played that instead of Boyle. But again, no surprise to have seen 11 changes this evening. But there's opportunities out there. There's players fighting their way back from injuries. Dobson's coming back from a suspension. Tom O'Connor, good to see him back out there. Dan Scarr. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure if we go by the previous rounds and the games we've seen, we'll get a performance off Wrexham again.
Yeah, good evening, Mark. Good to be back. I think I only will say similar to Waynne. I think you look at this tonight. I think you're 4 wins away from Wembley, and suddenly that mentality changes from a sort of game where you're getting extra minutes in fringe players' legs to suddenly a chance of silverware and a big lovely day out for the fans and the club as well. So yeah, again tonight I think you look at the squad. I still think that starting 11 is very strong. Considering it's sort of second or third string in some cases. So again, another real good opportunity for these boys to sort of show where they should be in the sort of rankings. Absolutely
so, as Wrexham get a throw in immediately, but Ford's throw doesn't find its target, and Crewe just launch it straight back to give Foster his first touch. Everyone's been saying that he's a big unit. Well, in that all fluorescent yellow kit, he looks enormous, doesn't he? He's feeding it out to the left-hand side. O'Connor now has got Mendy just checking out an offering, but they're going to use Foster again. And this time he's going to go long. Of course, Wrexham have 2 strikers who are decent in the air here. Farl jumps, flicks that on nicely. Bothersson gets there in the D, back to goal, holds it up well. Good ball. Revan now, chance to cross. Lots of red shirts in the box. Revan fakes the cross, gets on his right foot, then back on his left, then on his right, turning his man inside out, and then overhits the cross. Oh well, it could be captain. No, yeah, Farl's managed to do so, but hasn't found a teammate, and Crewe have a chance to break, but it's broken up swiftly as Thibault tries to get on the end of it, and now Wrexham have it again. Promising start though.
Yeah, it was, Mark. Yeah, it was Jacob Mendy, by the way, not Revan. Down the left-hand side. Down the left-hand side, yes, yeah.
That was close.
You threw me a little bit then because I was having to doubt myself. But no, good link-up play, a good strike of the ball by Foster, and the link-up play from the 2 strikers. One, Mo Thal winning the header, and Bud Varson, getting on the end of it and playing the ball out to Jacob Mendy on the left-hand side, and nothing came of it. But no, a bright start.
Yeah, except by me. Well, I got the colours right. Wrexham in red, Crewe in blue. I know that much. Wrexham win a free kick in midfield and certainly are getting on the front foot. Yeah, Crewe have picked 2 of their regular back 3 and their first choice keeper. So there's experience at the back, but beyond that, a lot of young prospects, some of whom have had pitch time. As O'Connor lifts it down the flank looking for Mendy. That's a great ball. Mendy just about gets there, and he wins the first corner of the match off Billington. But yeah, O'Connor's quality playing the ball forwards from deep is terrific.
Great ball. It's not an easy ball. He hasn't got a lot of space behind to play, and the straight ball is always one of the hardest. You go diagonal, you've got more space, but it was perfectly weighted, and Jacob Mendy doing ever so well to win the first corner and an opportunity to get the big boys into the penalty area.
Everyone back for Crewe. Wrexham, nobody ahead of halfway across the box. Everyone crowding at the far post. The crowded 6-yard box. Swept into the crowd as well. Good header clear. Dobson will pick it up on the edge of the box. Put under pressure. Goes back to the halfway line. O'Connor is there. Ford's asking for the switch. O'Connor sees it and plays it well. Ford tried to flick it past his man first time. Billington did well to get a foot in. And Ford under pressure has put it out deep in his own half for a throw-in. Of course, players like Ford have had so little pitch time as well. It's, he's got to adapt.
Him being one of the 2 players only tonight to have started all four in this competition, himself and Mo Farl, I think, they're the only 2. Correct. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but I think I think they're the 2 who have played most minutes in this competition this season. And it's good because he wasn't one of the named players that the club have to produce for the season. So I'm glad that he is getting some game time. I'm referring to Anthony Ford in this competition. Yeah,
absolutely. He's unregistered but can play in this. And he's such a good professional forward. It's good to see him regularly involved as the throw-in is squandered. Put straight out of play for a throw to Wrexham by Breckin. And Wrexham then with the throw level the edge of their own area, left-hand side. O'Connor looks down the line for Farl. Good strength, helps it on. Bolverson under pressure, takes it nicely too. And Wrexham win the throw on the halfway line in the end. Mendy hasn't got many quick options. Dobson offering, he goes back instead into his own half. Yeah, Crewe doing really well this season. They're in 4th place. And, they did well last season, and their injuries really tore them apart, and they frankly fell to pieces at the end of the season, as that's an ambitious ball over the top by Aaron James, overhit. But yeah, they're shaping up well this season, and as is their reputation, they've brought through lots of young players and can use them in this competition.
Yeah, they've got another big game on Saturday against Grimsby as well, who I think sit 6th, they sit 4th, so that's a big one in their push for promotion.
As here's Billington on the breakaway, feeding it down the right-hand side. Chance for the ball to be brought in by Breckin. He pulls it back nicely as well. Billington's continued his run, and Mendy breaks that up well with a good foot in. Back at the halfway line, Crewe retrieve the ball and look to move through the middle of the pitch until it's all broken up and Dobson of typical fleet-footed movement. Here's Adam, who's tidy on the ball as well. Switches to the right-hand side. Ford plays it early. The 2 strikers a bit isolated. Botherson is asking a lot of him. He's done well to get there. In the end, it comes off the defender. Yeah, good pressure by Botherson. It's a corner.
Yeah, good ball. That channel ball. And then you've got the work of Bodvarsson putting the left-sided centre-back Williams under a little bit of pressure. And no other option other than to put the ball out for a corner. But, a touch on Crewe, a team who have always produced talented young footballers. I think in the last game against Harrogate, they had 12 academy graduates playing, 5 of them being from the under-18. So that's what they tend to do, and they do it well.
Here comes the swinging corner from O'Connor then. Sweeps it to the near post. It's touched on. But Aaron James Hayes won another corner. Just managed to get first contact and flicked off a defender. Again then, O'Connor takes it. Adam offers as a short option. Ford's in an inviting little bit of space outside the box. The ball swept in nastily under the bar. Marshall punches well. Ford will attack this and hits it. And it hits his own man, Scar. Ball comes back in again. It's headed away. And in the end, Ford sensibly gets it out of the crowd. Back to Mendy in the centre circle. He sets himself and goes towards the right corner. Good ball up for Aaron James, who wins that header well. Headed partially clear. Long range shot by Farl. That's a great effort. Good save by Marshall. It came through the crowd. It was a hell of a volley as it dropped in front of him, and Marshall had to scramble to lunge to his left and save it.
Yeah, he caught it really well, Mo Farl. Marshall's probably favourite in that scenario. Just he doesn't quite get enough power on it maybe to beat the goalkeeper, but really nice strike.
It was all about technique. The technique was excellent. Kept his eye on the ball, got his knee over the ball and hit the target. And as Mia touched on, it was never really going to cause the goalkeeper too much problems. It didn't have the pace and power, but started the game quite well. Mo Farrell, he's won a couple of headers. The link-up play with Bodvarsson in and around the penalty area has been good. There was an incident just in front of us where the two linked from a throw-in. So, 7 minutes into a game, he can be pleased with how it's gone for him.
I think Phil Parkinson touched on it before the game about, they weren't buying the final product with Mo Farrell. They've bought very much potential, and I think already in the last few weeks, I think we've seen it sitting up here, but I think Phil Parkinson has seen it in training in the week as well in terms of his development. So he's someone I'm really excited to see over the next few months, and with great strikers alongside him in Bodvarsson, very experienced player Paul Mullin. I know Jack Marritt's obviously out, but people like Steve Fletcher to have them working alongside you every day. I mean, you can't ask for much better, can you? Really, at this level?
He's a youngster, learning the game.
That's a good turn on the edge of the Wrexham area. The ball's played in. Mendy will deal with that. Yeah, as it's headed away further by Dobson. Here is Farrell, looking to hold it up, can't manage it. But yeah, Farrell is, you can see he's got something, and as his confidence grows and his experience grows, he can only benefit as Crewe player. Poor ball forwards looking for Billington. But yeah, he's a proper prospect, and I thought he linked well with Bodvarsson at Port Vale in our last game in this competition.
He's certainly got talent. I personally believe there's been a little bit of harsh criticism towards him because we haven't even seen him yet. We've seen him for 3 or 4 games, which isn't enough to judge a player. But obviously the club and Phil Parkinson and his coaching team know there's something there, and it might be a long-term project. But I'm looking forward to seeing him in a Wrexham shirt for years to come, and hopefully the goals start flowing in.
Knight LaBelle wins an important header on the edge of the area. It's cleared, and O'Connor has to head it out of play under pressure from Thibault, throwing 30 yards out for Crewe, right hand side. Yeah, I think people who are impatient with Farrell don't make much sense. He's clearly one for the future. Patience is a virtue in this competition, now called the Vertu Trophy. Didn't see that coming. Yeah, he did. I know. Here's Billington from the throw, driving forwards. Mendy again does well. He's had a very bright start. Another throw in. Billington, 15 yards out. Looking around for options. In the end, it's mishit rather by Jack Powell, but Crewe retain it. James Jones intercepts though, and it's cleared. Again, Crewe get the ball back, and it's worked over to the right-hand side. Billington very busy early on. Another of those promising young players. It maybe plays as a holding midfielder against us in the league. He's been playing as a centre-back this season. Here he is on the right wing-back position, and he's coming forwards well as he lifts it over the top. Thibault and O'Connor came together, throw into Wrexham. Thibault thinks it was a foul. Referee's not interested. And O'Connor throws back to Scar.
10 minutes gone, Mark. I'd say Wrexham have had the better of the game. The couple of certainly the efforts on target by Mo Farrell. The corner of good delivery from that far side, which caused the goalkeeper a little bit of a problem that he dealt with well. But we haven't seen too much really from Crewe coming forward up to this point. And Wrexham being the home team is what I would expect. Which they're normally on the front foot. They normally get at teams early on, and I'm sure we will see more chances in the next 10 minutes.
Good ball by Dobson, well taken by Farrell. Works a nice 1-2 with Bodvarsson and feeds it wide. Mendy now running at Billington, feeds it down the line. Good run in to out by Farrell. And is he fouled? No. Referee feels that the physical contact on him was acceptable, and Brecken looks to bring it clear. In the end, Wrexham put some pressure on though, and it's the centre-back, Knight LaBelle, feeding it back to his keeper, Marshall. From the long kick, James Jones is fouled on the halfway line. Free kick to Wrexham.
And there was some good link-up play initially from Farrell and Bodvarsson, and it's all about partnerships. A lot of that goes on in football: centre-back partnerships, wingers and full-backs partnerships, central midfield partnerships, and centre-forwards. And you first and foremost sort your own game out, and then you link a partnership. We go back to the 90s and the centre-forward partnerships at some of the top clubs. You could roll them off the tip of your tongue, and I'm liking what I'm seeing here this evening.
Watkin and Bennett, I remember those guys. Long ball forwards. O'Connor
I
jumps.
was hoping you'd have said Owen and Phillips, Mark, first.
Up front. You just bossed the middle of the pitch, didn't you?
I don't know about bossing, but I was out there.
Get away. It's a throw into Crewe, just inside the Wrexham half, right-hand side. Billington on the ball again. Yeah, even though they've kept some of their first team from last Saturday in, they're still very young, apart from Powell, who's, like I said, making his first start in 14 months. That's a challenge by Adam, who claims he played the ball, but I think the ref's right to get the free kick. The rest of them, well, he's by far the oldest at 30. Next oldest is 23. And as I say, they do bring young lads through, but it's a youthful side. As the free kick on the right-hand side, it's got two men over it. Charlie Finney is the left-footed option. And Powell is the other. Powell it'll be, sweeping it into the far post. Foster comes, punches, and that's good because he's found Ford, only one player ahead of him. He knocks it over the top, and a Bolverson will chase this. Knight LaBelle's done well to get there first. Wrexham fans shouting for handball, but he took it on his midriff. And Crewe are able to come clear. Ball fed down the line. Poor ball. Now Mendy can maybe feed it forwards. He accelerates past Powell. Feeds it into Fowl. Big interception. Bolverson gets it loose ball left hand side. Mendy in support. So is Adam. Mendy gets it level the edge of the box left hand side. Stops the ball. Then tries to accelerate past Billington. Drives in the cross. It's blocked by Knight LaBelle. And now Crewe can look to play their way out. Powell feeding it back towards the corner flag. Knight LaBelle gets his foot through the clearance. Thibault's done well to turn O'Connor, who grabs and pulls him to the floor. And, well, is the ref going to book him? That is a booking, to be fair. I mean, if he doesn't book him, O'Connor's very lucky.
Just going back to the incident just before Tom O'Connor incident, Mendy on the ball. I think Josh Adam needs to be screaming for the ball. He stood 5-10 yards away from Jacob Mendy. He's in acres of space. Yes, Mendy should be able to see him and should pass it simple. But obviously there's instructions for Mendy to, if he's one-on-one, to maybe have a go with the full-back. And unfortunate for Wrexham, nothing came of it.
He's certainly looking very positive, isn't he, Mendy? He's made a very direct start as O'Connor didn't get booked. Like I say, I think that's one of those I don't book anyone in the first 25 minutes things, which anyone who's listened to these commentaries knows I'm scandalised by.
Yeah, it's wrong.
It's wrong, yeah.
If there's a booking, there's a booking. Whether it's first minute or last minute, I don't get it. Yes, had that been a league game, he'd have probably got a yellow card. Not that I'm wishing anybody to get yellow and red, but it just like yourself, Mark, it winds me up as much as yourself, I think.
Yeah, there's nothing in the rules saying that at certain points of the game yellows aren't yellows. It's utter nonsense. If you're going to foul somebody and take a yellow, then it's your fault. There, my rant is over.
Same with goals. Doesn't matter if it comes in the first minute or yes. 92nd minute, exactly. as happened last Tuesday. What a goal that was as well. Ollie Rathbone.
It was quite something, wasn't it? As Connolly put under pressure on his edge of his head by Bolverson, feeds it to Knight LaBelle. He again has to go long. Wrexham win it back. Good scrapping in the middle of the pitch by Aaron James, who'd stepped up, but the ball forwards by Ford's inaccurate. Throw to Crewe. The much more experienced Connolly put Knight LaBelle in a little bit of a spot on the edge of the box, and you're not going to get me complaining about teams getting the ball down and playing out from the back, but that was a more experienced player giving the young lad a pass which he could only launch away, frankly, because he had a player tight on him. So throw into Crewe, just short of the halfway line. Slung down the line by Finney, and Wrexham get a decision. Yeah, you're going to get two teams who aren't really used to playing with each other as well. It's always going to have an effect, I think, Mia, isn't it, on your sort of fluency of both sides? Yeah,
I think definitely. And Wrexham so far sort of started well, just dropped off a little bit last few minutes, just a few little fouls here and there, but really good link up again by Bodvarsson to foul.
Done well, and foul switches quickly. James driving forwards. Crewe quite deep. He sweeps it in the box. Important header away by Williams. Drops for Adam. Lovely take. He faked that he was going to hit it and then brought it down beautifully. And Wrexham again have it in midfield, but Crewe has stepped out now and have in a mid block. Wrexham looks to move around them. O'Connor getting down the left hand side. Inside to Adam. Good snappy passing. Dobson, good ball to the edge of the box. Farl flicks it backwards. There's a good stretch to keep the ball there by James Jones, because Farl's pass wasn't quite spot on. And now Aaron James typically drives forwards. He's done well. Lays it out wide. Chance for the cross. Farl pulls it back instead. James Jones waiting for the pull back. Gets it. 30 yards out. Crosses to the far post. Mendy attacks it. Billington did well to get there first and head it away, but it comes back in. Farl back to goal. Tries to turn. 15 yards out. Crucial foot in by Powell. He feeds it to Marshall, but this is good intense pressure from Wrexham, released in the end by the keeper's clearance.
Passage of play, excellent in fact. And it started, Mia mentioned the link up again, but Varson and Farl, and a couple of good forward penetrating runs. James being one of them from the right hand side, and a couple of balls into the box. James Jones we haven't seen a lot of yet, but an excellent pass by himself.
Here's Ford chipping it in behind Bodvarson's on the stretch. It's cleared by Connolly. And now, can Crewe break? No, because O'Connor not only reads it well, but he spots that Mendy's in a bit of space and turns a neat little reverse pass to him. Dobson now in the centre circle. Crewe again getting behind the ball. Dobson helps it wide to the right-hand side. Aaron James uses Ford, 30 yards out. James goes beyond him and drags a player back. And Wrexham again move into midfield and look for spaces to exploit. O'Connor's pass makes Farl stretch. He can't quite take it. Cleared for a throw on the halfway line. O'Connor with the ball in his hands. Scar is the easy option. Dobson wants it. Mendy says, I'll take over from here, thanks. The ball in his hands. He's looking down the line. Farl and Bodvarsson and Eversby are there. It's taken a hell of a long time to summon this up. Goes back to Scar at the end of all that. And now here the Wrexham skipper comes driving forwards. Aaron James, who has really impressed me in these games this season, finds James Jones, who had to scurry to control that. He wins the throw-in.
Yeah, Aaron James, obviously one of the academy prospects. Phil Parkinson touched on, probably trying to get him out on loan in January in his pre-match tonight, which I think is something that, definitely in terms of game time you need to be doing. So that could be an exciting one to watch over the next few months.
As Bodvarsson then made a lovely run right to left, and Adam tried to feed him in but couldn't find him. And now Crewe have a chance with Connolly to come forwards. Steve Kearnsley on Ask Wrexham, very generous. Wrexham on the big screen, 3 legends on comms. What a great Tuesday afternoon. God bless you, Steve. You're a good judge.
Yes, thank you.
Here now. Coming down the right, Connolly pings it into the feet of T-Bar. It's a lovely turn by him, but O'Connor makes an excellent tackle. Those two are having a bit of a scrap.
He's been excellent for 20 minutes, Tom O'Connor.
Yeah.
Not only his defensive duties, the passing forward. I think we're all in agreement that, as ball playing centre halves come, he's as good as any. Brunt has come in and done a terrific job as well. Which is why Tom O'Connor is out of the side, but a top pro. I mentioned in the build-up, a top pro who goes about his work in whatever game he's playing, and 20 minutes, a faultless 20 minutes performance up to now.
Here's Powell coming forwards, working it over to the left-hand side. Finney swings in the cross, decent one, good save by Foster. Brecken arrived on the edge of the box, good contact on the half volley, and Foster got down low to his left and was able to push it clear. Real chance that for Crewe. And fair play to Foster. His first test is safely negotiated. It was a good hit on the edge of the area by Brecken. He took it on the half volley. And really good work to get down by Foster. Makes the parry. Now here's Wrexham coming forwards, and they've passed it through the thirds nicely. Adam now in the middle of the pitch decides not to be progressive. O'Connor is though, or Beckenbauer, as we should be calling him. Dobson on the halfway line. I'm noting that down. I'm going to make that into a t-shirt, I'm telling you. It's fed back to Scar. Wrexham just moving it around. Crewe settled in their mid-block. Nice little pass by Dobson to Adam. It helps it on one. Mendy now left-hand side, running at Billington. Little couple of step-overs. Pulls it edge of the area. Adam can hit this. He drives it. Doesn't get the curl on it because the defender made a good block. Corner to Wrexham.
Good response for all the good play we've seen from Wrexham. the best chance has come to Crewe, and I thought it was a very good save. He got down really well to his left hand side. Brad Foster, he'll be feeling really good after that. He's everything that he's had to deal with up to this point, he's done very well. And Wrexham break quickly, and it's one of them. How often have we, with the three of us, been sat in this commentary position and we see the ball break into where we've just seen it, and Elliot Lee tends to be the one more often than not who just bends it into the top corner. I was half expecting that. It was a good block, and I think it's Wrexham's 4th or 5th corner of the game now, so you can see that the pressure's coming from Wrexham, but while it's 0-0, Crewe will think they've had that best chance.
Good hit, wasn't it? And Adam's in a really promising position, isn't he? As we got a break here because Thibault's being treated for an injury.
Yeah, really good opportunity. I think at first I was sort of thinking, can he get round Jacob Mendy when he plays it out wide, sort of create that overlap, take a man with him, but he finds himself in a really nice little bit of space, that little pocket, which, like Waynne says, we're often sort of associate with Elliot Lee, where he just often finds that little gap and can just wrap that ball round into the corner of the net, which we've seen him do a number of times, luckily, in a Wrexham shirt. But Josh Adam, again, just looks very sharp on the ball considering his lack of minutes. And it was a really good effort, probably defended in the end to get bodies back for Crewe.
I think what the top players do, and the players who have got a bit about them, they use that defender as a guide, just to bend it around them. And quite often the Mullins, the Elliot Lees, you could roll the goals that they've produced from that sort of angle. But unlucky for Wrexham on that occasion, they do get a corner from it, and would like to hope for another good delivery into the box.
It's O'Connor to take. Crewe down to 10 men. Thibault haven't been treated. O'Connor sweeps it in under the bar, well taken by Marshall. Comfortable take in the end. Dobson was completely unmarked at the far post, and Wrexham weren't able to get it forwards to him. Now then, the ball's played down the left-hand side, and here's Brecken again with a good burst of pace. He's on his own. He's done well to pull it back in the box, but there's no one there, and Scar is able to take a touch, beg your pardon, James, and Wrexham now feed it to the left-hand side. Mendy put under pressure, gets it clear to the halfway line. Bothersson will chase that down. Awkward bounce for Connolly, and he deals beautifully. Dumps Bothersson on his backside as he suddenly shifts direction. That was neatly done.
Confident?
Yeah.
I know a lot of players would have been putting it out for a throw-in or having the decent thing and go back to the goalkeeper, but he tried something different and make Bodvarsson slip on onto his side, really.
Yeah, Botherson's thinking, next time, mate. I'll get you. Here's Marshall, who's been really impressive for Crewe in the league, on loan from Aston Villa. The ball at his feet, feeds it into midfield. Powell works it across to the left. So Wrexham looked to put pressure on, and so in the end it's knocked clear by Zach Williams, young Welsh defender. Ball prodded well to Thibault, holds it up nicely and lays it off. Long range shot comes in, and Foster blocks it with his foot. It was moving a lot, it wasn't a pretty save. Ball back in, brilliant defending that, as the ball hooked clear by Scar as a player tried to make a diving header, and now it's Bodvarsson taking the ball, just on a cute little back heel over the defender, last defender. Can't quite manage it. What a hit that was from a long way out, wasn't it? By Finn Roberts, and Foster managed to save that, as here they come forwards again now. Roberts once more involved. Ball's laid backwards, and Crewe find that Wrexham have got themselves back into a deep block, and then a sloppy pass puts it out of play, and Wrexham will be relieved by that, but a scary moment for Foster there.
Yeah, definitely. It's Roberts, like you say, Mark, just finds himself in that lot of space. That Wrexham back line just drop off because they've got men to deal with, and he finds himself in that little bit of that pocket, and he just takes it on. I think he just looks up and thinks, right, I'm having this. It's set up quite nicely for me. And I'm not sure whether the ball maybe has a bit of movement on it, but yeah, Brad Foster scrambling a little bit, just has to sort his legs out to get it away.
I'm exactly like you, me. I thought the ball may have moved a little bit to have thrown Brad Foster a little bit. Didn't look the best. You tend to think goalkeepers are going to go over their hands all the time, but he's done the right thing, and if you're not sure, he's kept it out. So the pleasing thing is it didn't go underneath his foot and into the back of the net, but I'm sure I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that there was movement in the ball to throw him out a little bit.
It was really good defending just on the second passage of play as well by Dan Scar to hook his foot round on that little second chance that Crewe had just then as well.
Yeah, it was superb defending now, wasn't it? Really hurling himself at the ball to make the interception. But yeah, scary moments for Foster as Wrexham go over the top. That's a nice idea. Ford's on the chase, got too much on it though. Marshall will come out to the corner flag and is allowed to run it out for the goal kick. Yeah, I mean, the movement in the air deceived him, and you're quite right. Most important thing in goalkeeping, don't let it past you. But it was ugly, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Very ugly. Long clearance by Marshall. And Thibault, good strength again. O'Connor's all over him. It's a great interception by Adam. Referee doesn't penalise O'Connor. Oh, and Adam feeds it to Farl, who might have been able to reach that, but he thought Mendy was outside him, left it, and it's gone out for a throw.
Yeah, again, though, it comes from that Tom O'Connor and Thibault little tussle. They've got a right good battle going on so far this game. Just a few now. I think Tom O'Connor's probably winning the battle at the moment, but Thibault's giving him a good old fight in what Tom O'Connor maybe thought would be a bit of an easier match tonight in this competition.
Throwing back to Marshall, who has to get rid of it quickly because Botherson's after him. Here's Finn Roberts, the player who had that superb shot. Scar beats him well in the air. Jones helps it on. Powell is there. It's a very experienced Powell. How many minutes he's got in his legs with that horrible injury he's had, we don't know, but he's knitting things together nicely in midfield for them. Mike LaBelle, the central of the three centre-backs, works at square. Connolly goes driving forwards until Mendy stops him with a great block tackle. Farl now holds off one man, going through the middle. He gets some support in Adam, fast feet, as he just gets away from Connolly and works the ball backwards, and Wrexham have recirculated it. Scar now to James. James Jones, always on the move, is available on the halfway line. Works it inside to Dobson. And Wrexham switch it back again. Scar now looking to his left. Rolls in O'Connor. Adam picking up a nice little position between the lines. He finds Mendy instead. And Wrexham just moving it around, just pulling Crewe about, making them chase the ball. Scar goes back to Foster in the end, and Thibault will chase at the keeper. Good long kick by Foster. Boverson gets up, well won by Knight LaBelle. Boverson keeps fighting for the second ball, but can't win it. And now it's Brecken leaving it over the top. Much too strong, that. Straight through to Foster. Half an hour, well, we're in the 30th minute.
James Jones, is it? Not a good sight to see.
No, always a worry. You know, player coming back from injury. He just had that little sprint down the right-hand side, didn't he? And whether that's caused an issue or not.
Yeah, and if it is the case where he has felt a little niggle, it's not worth taking the risk. For someone who is working his way back, somebody who's been a big part of Wrexham's success over the last couple of seasons. He hasn't really been in this game this evening. You just wonder if there's something that he is feeling there, but gives him an opportunity just to gather their thoughts, all of them. We see this quite often in games now, where 25-30 minutes, a water break, not the warmest of evenings. But how much of a change in 72 hours, from the wind, storm Dara on Saturday to a calm evening at the racecourse this evening.
They're passing around the Lucozade hot chocolate as James Jones is coming off. That's such a shame. He turns and he's clapping the crowd, and that's a real shame, that, isn't it? He's got a fight in his hands to get a place in the team now, and he's come back from injury, ends prematurely. Now I'm just looking around for who Wrexham are warming up.
Andy Cannon, I think it'll be.
Yeah. So Cannon comes on. Of course, quite apart from the fact that Phil Parkinson would not have wanted Jones to pick up a recurrence if it is that of his injury, he also wouldn't have wanted Cannon to get an hour in his legs, really, would he? He may well be starting on Saturday, but Cannon gets a good round of applause, as he should, as he replaces poor James Jones, who limps down the side of the pitch. What a shame that is.
Hard to say, what the injury is as he's walking off. Not really sure what his initial injury was, but no, it's devastating. When you come back from injury, you just want to get through that next and first game back, in the hope that nothing goes wrong. And 31 minutes, he's heading back into the change rooms, and I know exactly how he'll be feeling inside there now as he walks in.
As he is Farl driving forwards, hits his shot. It hits a defender as well, but he drove it into the ground. Wasn't going to cause Marshall too many problems. It was a nice combination again, though, between Fowle and Bolverson.
Yeah, they're finding really nice areas, and that distance between them has been really good. You know, they're finding that perfect balance of not being too far, not being too close. And again, I think it's similar to that sort of strike he had earlier on. I'm sort of thinking, right, he caught that first one very well. This second one's a real opportunity. Just doesn't quite get this one right. But again, a really real good sign of these two working really well together.
Wrexham throw, and Dobson's forced back into his own half. O'Connor now on it. Mendy offers wide and receives. Adam is inside him. But Billington's stuck to him well, and Mendy goes back to Scar. Good ball by Scar. Lovely vision as well by Cannon. His first touch sends Aaron James scampering down the right hand side again. He uses Cannon. Ooh, slips over. And now Crewe have got a 2-on-2 break here. Thibault is in the middle. Roberts is running at Scar. Scar looking to show him round the outside. He feeds it in. Well, it hit Thibault at the near post. Bounced off him and was driven back in by Roberts. Sharp block by Foster to put it behind for the corner. I mean, it was a horrible angle for Roberts to try a shot, but nearly managed to hit the target and give a real problem to Wrexham.
Yeah, it comes from Andy Cannon. I think he just loses his footing. But he actually does well on that first ball. He manages to play it out and then gets it back. And like I say, I think he just slips over maybe. But then I think he's quite fortunate actually that the Crewe player gets in before him. He doesn't actually get a hand on it, because I think that could have caused him a few problems.
Here comes the away swinging corner to the near post, and Knight LaBelle missed it. It's a free kick anyway. Knight LaBelle lost his man a bit too easily for my liking. But yeah, he really nailed that shot, Roberts, from virtually impossible angle, and Foster did well to get a big right hand across and save it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was in an offside position when the ball came back to him, but difficult to say from the angle we are up here in the commentary box. Perfect position to see everything, but when you're looking for tight decisions like that, but he did get a powerful shot in, and it came from the slip by Andy Cannon. I wondered why he turned back when he was on to go forward anyway. But maybe he's just finding his way into the game. His initial first thing he did was very good. He got on the ball and played a lovely ball out the right hand side, and he's back on the ball again.
Just well there with that interception after Adam played a forwards pass that was inaccurate. Here now is Aaron James. Back to Scar in the centre circle. Dobson, whoa, nice turn that. Just about protects the ball from Powell and works it wide. Forward back into his own half. Wrexham moving the ball around nicely. Dobson, lovely ball round the corner. Cannon quickly out to forward, that's nice. Botherson's tearing into the box forward. Takes a touch, left footed cross, Foul, flicks it on, and it's gone over the bar. Nice fluent move by Wrexham though.
Yeah, really nice passage of play again. Just that ball out to Anthony Thord. I didn't think he was going to quite make it. I thought Finney was ahead of him, but he does really well to turn back in and get that ball into the box, and it's a nice flick on header by Foul in the end. Just not quite going to cause Crewe too many issues, but really nice move.
It was a good play, and I don't want to sound as if I'm being critical, but the only thing that for me was, had the ball been a little bit heavier weighted by Andy Cannon, Anthony Ford's coming onto it, he's whipping it in first time, and the striker's in there. He's had to turn back because the pace wasn't on the ball, and he produced a delivery that's always going to be difficult to head and get power on target, but it came from some good play.
He's in a chance of Thibault now, edge of the area, fed by Roberts, hits it first time, another good save by Foster. Gets down low to his left, Thibault struck it cleanly, Foster parries it away, cross comes back in, Foster won't be able to get to that, and it's headed behind by James for the corner, but it's fair play to Foster. He's made some decent stops.
Well, he's been the busier of the two goalkeepers, that's for sure. Even though Wrexham have probably been the better team, he's made 3 saves, two really good, and the third with his feet that he kept out as well. So Wrexham have to be careful, because Crewe are always a threat when they come forward because of the quality they have.
It was a bit easy to get at Wrexham's back three then, I thought, as well. Just one simple ball by Roberts, who popped up between the lines, and Crewe have now got a lot of players beyond the far post, and there's a bit of rough stuff. Connolly had a Wrexham player by the arm and was shoving him about. It's still going on now. It's still him. As Wrexham sends some subs out.
They got pulled up for the last one, so from a Crewe point of view, you'd be thinking set pieces could be massive in this game for them to get something, and you don't want to waste them like they did the last one with a silly little foul.
Williams is hiding behind Knight level to try and lose his man. Lots of movement into the crowded goalmouth now, and it's headed back into the goalmouth from the far post. Good clearance off balance to scoop it away by Scar. Now can Wrexham break? Dobson feeds the ball forwards, a bit hurried that. Bothersome will get to it, and it's knocked back to Marshall. But yeah, Wrexham just opened up a bit by that move that led to Foster's save. As good foot in midfield by Cannon, throwing to Crewe in midfield.
Yeah, just on that last move, it was the back three weren't all on that same wavelength. It was sort of Tom O'Connor had stepped, whereas Dan Scarr, the one in the middle, had just sat off a little bit, which allowed Thibault just to take advantage of that and get in behind Tom O'Connor, where he found himself in a fair bit of space and got off a nice strike, if not for a solid Brad Foster save.
Yeah, good strike. I think he should be going to the other corner. By no means was I a centre forward. I'd hit it as hard as I could, in the hope that I went into the back of the net. But he's got the whole goal to aim at, and he's come to the near post. And I thought Foster did very well to get down and a good parried save again.
As Dobson sends the ball back to Foster. You scored enough, Waynne. Fair play. You scored a fair few.
Not usually inside the box. They were always outside the box. For some reason.
Oh, exactly. The connoisseur's goal. You don't do the simple ones. As Bothersome gets it really well to win that. Adams unlucky, so he tries to prod it first time back to him. It ricochets kindly for Crewe, and they feed up, and here's Thibault against O'Connor in the wrestling contest. Dobson decides it's a tag match and flattens Thibault. Free kick in midfield.
I'll give him a bit of credit. I'm nowhere near as good of a goal scorer as your normal co-commentator, Andy Morell. He was terrific. In that department, and putting balls into the back of the onion bag, as we call it, and as well as being a terrific player, a top goal scorer, a top lad as well. I'm sure both of you would second that.
Well, maybe Mia would.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's okay, isn't he? But has he ever scored?
If you're listening, Andy, you owe me a pint.
Here's Crewe building patiently from the back again. We're into the last 6 minutes of the first half, and it's Connolly's thinks about playing it in. Brecken made a nice little run across the back line, but Crewe decide in the end they're going to keep moving it around, looking for spaces, and Connolly has got a bit of space here to come forwards, plays the diagonal. He's looking for Roberts. He's comfortably beaten in the air by Ford, though. He nods it Keithley back to Foster, and Foster completes a 1-2 of sorts, throwing it back out to Ford, who comes driving centrally. Dobson, deep in his own half, stands it up to the left-hand side. O'Connor takes it on the run with his chest. Optimistic shout for handball by the Crewe fans. Wrexham keep the ball moving. Scar now brings Aaron James in. And then Ford again dropping off on the right flank. Wrexham just looking for the opportunity to work the ball through. I haven't felt that Crewe have been that compact in a way when they haven't had the ball. We've been able to pass through them easily enough as the long diagonal for Mendy is headed comfortably back to the keeper. Marshall rolling around to the right hand side. Connolly has been the most progressive of the three centre backs for Crewe. Stands it up, but it's inaccurate. And Scar gives a shout. O'Connor leaves. Dobson takes it on the chest, but he's caught in possession. And now there's danger until Cannon comes back with a good challenge on Thibault. Adam, nice quick pass forwards, and Cannon on the left driving forwards. He holds it up now 30 yards out. Gets it back from Adam once more. That's nice snappy passing again by Adam. Mendy back to the halfway line. He interests me, Adam, in that I think he's not always making the right decisions, I think. And I'm saying about Port Vale with the ball, but he does make that decision quickly. He gets the ball moving swiftly. As he is Aaron James on the halfway on right hand side, decides he's going to play a diagonal. Bothersome backing in. That's well won in the air by Connolly. And the ball is fed down the right flank. Thibault backing into O'Connor again. This time O'Connor wins it. Throw to Crewe.
Yeah, it seems a long time ago since we had that effort on goal. For all the good play we've had, it's been a quiet night for Marshall in goal for Crewe Alexandra. We mentioned it. Foster has been the busier of the two goalkeepers, and there has been some good play by Wrexham, but we just hope there's some more of an end product as the game goes on. The one thing they'll want now is to certainly not concede before half time. and should they go in without conceding that goal, it'd be a bonus if they can go and get one, and it's going to make of an interesting second half. I'm already looking down to such a strong bench, and I'm sure we will be seeing some of those Wrexham players coming on from that 60-minute mark onwards, and then we'll see where the game is at that stage.
As a diagonal played by Dobson, and again just under hit, and Billington again is able to deal with it. Good work by Adam to win it back, and a nice bit of vision finds Dobson in the centre circle. He looks for the killer ball. Connolly reads it and feeds it to Powell, who comes driving forwards, plays it wide. T-Bart's a cute little pass inside as well. Dobson gets a foot in but can't win it, and Powell, early ball looking for Roberts, but Aaron James backpedals and deals with it well. When the ball comes back to him, he knocks it over the top. Throw into Crewe. Walter Nets on Ask Wrexham, why is it every time that we mention Scar, he thinks of, and there you go, Scar from The Lion King. Yes, I keep, if it's any consolation, I keep thinking it whenever I say it as well tonight. I don't normally, but I don't know. Bufasa, of course, on the bench for Wrexham. Weirdly, I was talking about Elton John today with Dan Backman, who was our guest on this week's Football Vinyl Whistle Weekly, not Football Weekly. That's a completely different, slightly newer podcast than ours. As Bodvarsson does well to get a foot in midfield. So Tom O'Connor bringing it forwards, waiting for Mendy to get in an advanced position. And Crewe got their shape back nicely. Ball works over to the right-hand side. And that's a good surge again. Aaron James, he palms it off to Ford. Crewe got behind the ball. Wrexham probing, looking for a way through. The midfield's very deep as O'Connor slides. A nice idea, and Bodvarsson good pace to get there. That looks like a Crewe throw to me, though, despite the efforts of the Icelandic player to con the ref. Yeah, and it is. Throw to Crewe. Jen is liking Dobson's nice snappy passes. And he needed the rest. She's got a true leaf gift, really snappy.
She's not referring to his last two. He gave him away.
Rhymes is snappy, but no, I'm not going to complete that thought. Throwing over the edge of the box. Billington throws it down the line. The referee, again, he's, I think, quite generous to O'Connor, who, shall we say, falls onto Thibault. No foul given. Throw into Crewe. And it's going to be Connolly getting the ball back from Billington. Ball's launched long. Scar read that well then and checks out, allows to go through to Foster. Steve on Blue Sky says, I suppose it's an odd-looking save, referring back to that stop, but this foot by Foster is still a save in the box. And absolutely correct. 4 minutes to be added on.
There's no rule how you have to keep it out. Whether you're a goalkeeper or not. And like I say, I think we all were in agreement that there was some movement on the ball. Which threw him a little bit, and to get anything on that ball to keep it out, he did well, I think, in the end.
Well, thinking back to my dismal goalkeeping days, there were many times when I'd wished I got an ugly foot on something, I tell you. As James feeds it to the halfway line again, Wrexham was horseshoeing it about, and Crewe keeping their shape. It's Aaron James, this little ball around the corner, which he spots to Dobson on the halfway line, and he helps it moving quickly. Now there's a bit of space on the left. Wrexham having concentrated on the right for so long. As Crewe shuttle across, O'Connor, good return ball to Adam, left side the box, pulls it back, and not quite accurate enough. It dropped loose. Ford had made an unexpected run in from the flank, and it's cleared. And poor Aaron James clearly hasn't got the influence Tom O'Connor has on this ref, because that looked very similar to what O'Connor's been doing all through the match, and the ref penalises him. Good tracking back by Dobson to stop a quick free kick, and now Mendy accelerates, works it into the centre circle. Cannon back to Adam. Crewe have got their shape back. Mendy was driving forward, just hesitated. I think maybe the ball just didn't roll for him, and he just had to stop for a second, and it took the wind out of his sails. As James, that's good, drives it forwards to Farl, who flicks it backwards. We're not getting enough good service to these strikers, though, but here's something for Bodvarsson to chase, but maybe that illustrates it, something that Mike LaBelle's able to get to. Farl nods it back to the right-hand side. Nice change of direction, and Ford has got two men to beat, and he cuts between them. Can't quite keep possession, unlucky. That's a poor pass out though. Adam couldn't make it stick, or he could have had a go at goal perhaps. And Crewe launch it away long. We've had 2 of the 4 added minutes as O'Connor brings Foster into play.
Just haven't done enough in that final third to ask questions. I think as the half's gone on, we spoke highly of the 2 strikers at the beginning, but they've grown further apart. The gap between the 2 of them has been bigger and bigger, getting bigger, and that possibly comes from not seeing a lot of the ball in the last 20 minutes. The first 15-20 minutes they were close together, they were linking. We haven't seen as much in the last 15 minutes.
As Mendy wins a throw, backing into Billington. Yeah, Farnham Brothers have been very competitive in the air, quite apart from winning it. They've also created a lot of weak clearances and loose balls that players could hoover up, but the midfielders getting close enough to them as well, perhaps, as James works it to the right. Cannon's made a nice little run, as has James. That makes space for Ford, who comes narrow. And now he's looking to make the play. Stands it up, looking for Adam. It's a hell of a pass on Adam. Oh, gets a foot on it. Goes just wide. It was, 6 inches short of being perfect for him, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, from up here, from this angle, I couldn't quite tell whether he had caught it, perfectly, and it was just going to nestle in the back of the net. It's a lovely diagonal ball in, great run as well from Josh Adam, who just spots that bit of space and finds it really well. And yeah, just can't quite, bring it down, or if it was intended to be a shot, can't quite get it on target.
Ball of the half off Anthony Ford, like an arrow into his path. I think he's trying to bring it down, but it's probably just too far ahead of him. It's a difficult ball to bring down anyway for the best of players, but no, terrific ball of 40.
Now he's Breckin with this driving run, going out wide to the left-hand side. He rips across, and not the first time he's done that. Aaron James gets it away comfortably, and Breckin is then very harshly penalised. He's sort of nudged into his man. Referee gives the free kick. Ford again, who was fouled, takes it quickly, but that's half-time. Wrexham drawing 0-0. Now you can listen to Waynne and Mia, of course, if you want to. You can see them on Wrexham's YouTube channel as they discuss the first half with Chris Malaband, or you can hang around here as me. I'll go through some Ask Wrexham-y stuff. Wrexham drawing at half-time, and for me, I'd say Crewe would be the happier side, as their youthful side has played some neat stuff and asked some questions of Wrexham. All right, let's have a look at our Ask Wrexham correspondence. I said in the call to action, as they call it, any funny stories of mistaken identity. Well, how about this? Some ruby slippers. I attended the function with my dad, and I was married at the time but retained my maiden name. While we were chatting with the lady, she enthused, "Sir, your wife is so charming. How did you two meet?" Dad roared of laughter. My cheeks aflame. I got to correct the now mortified poor woman. Oh man, I tell you what. That's is that insulting to you? Oh, I don't know. Cryptic has gone there. I was considering this. He's gone there. Is Breckin a beacon for Crewe? Now that, you know what, it's that level of Welsh National Park comedy that we're aiming for. Very good, Cryptic indeed. Kelly, understandably, saying it feels really weird to hear great save by Foster. I know it does. He's built like him as well, and actually his technique's quite similar. He goes to that starfish position. He spreads his hands and legs and makes himself big. And that was how he was able to make that save from a tight angle, which the more I look at it, the more impressed I am by it. I mean, it was the sort of position where you sort of expect a save to be made because the striker has such a tight angle. But actually, he managed to get there and hit it immediately, and Foster hadn't had time to quite get there and did ever so well to get a strong right hand to it. So, good work by Foster. Like I said, it was a messy save with his foot. But then if it's moving along there, fair play to him. The other saves he made have been very impressive. High Desert Dragon, does anyone happen to know if Crewe is playing a full strength or second string team? Yes, don't worry, I have the answer. They've got 3 players in their starting lineup. who played last Saturday in the league. As Mia rightly said, they'll also be conscious of the fact that next Saturday they go to Grimsby, who are 2 places below them. They'll be tortured, of course, there by Jordan Davis. So 3 players, Marshall the keeper, and the centre-backs, Williams and Connolly, they're the 3 who started. But then when you look across the rest of their team, I'm just actually looking at their subs bench from Saturday. I mean, they've got players like, beg your pardon, on the current bench, they got also Taberner and Sanders, who are their midfield pivot in the first team. I think Ryan Cooney was on the bench as well, their regular right back. It's the players who are starting, like I said, they're very young, but Crewe have always had a reputation for bringing through young talent. They've got excellent youth development facilities, and so although neither Finn Roberts or Thibault, the 2 strikers, have actually started a league game, they are clearly capable. Likewise with Finney, the left wing back, he's never actually started a league game either. But they've got good pedigree amongst them. But their starting ages, like I said, Powell in midfield is the other experienced player. He was a massive youth prospect with Crewe when he was coming through their youth ranks, to the extent that he was poached quite early on, and there was a lot of excitement about him back in what would have been like the 2014s or something like that. However, it just didn't turn out right for him. And so he's back with them now, and he's had a long-term injury, but he's hoping, like I say, he's an experienced player getting his game back up. But then Lunt, who is starting, is only 20, but he's played a fair amount last season for them, only started 1 league game this season. The centre-back, Knight Leben, has started 11 league games this season, so he's played quite a bit in their back 3. So youthful, but I think players they're hoping will develop. I said Billington as well. He is a player who got first team experience last season and played well against us, I thought. So there's experience in there, not a huge amount, but there are players who have got had opportunities in the league. It's not a completely sort of understrength side. I mean, ours is really, if you're talking about how many players we've rested, but the difference there, of course, is that our strength and depth is terrifying. So we can still pick a very strong 11. So I hope that answered your question. I felt I was going round and round in circles halfway through, so let's hope so. A Fennel, just another Wrexham fan, he calls himself, and says, good to hear positive things about Farl. As a newbie, I also wonder about Jordan Davis. He's doing so well at Grimsby. What's he lacking that keeps him off the first team? That, I've just seen a brilliant tweet afterwards. Oh, no, I've seen 2 brilliant tweets. Right, I'll get to those round of 32 tweets in a moment, but I want to answer the Fennel question. The Jordan Davis. I mean, the reason he went out on loan last season, I mean, Jordan's got wonderful ability. He is a terrific player. Last season, injuries really hampered him, and with players of quality coming in during the season in midfield and coming in during the summer as well, I think it was just, we had an awful lot of midfielders and he wasn't going to get much game time at all, and so the decision made to loan him out as well, coming back from injury. Maybe it was the hope that he'd be able to get continuity. Now, okay, often players get loaned out and it's the beginning of the process of leaving a club. I'd love to think it isn't the case with Jordan, because, as we know, he's been looking excellent for Grimsby. He picked up a nasty muscular injury in the middle of what we've had so far this season, but he's got over it, and he's back and he's scoring goals. And it would be great if he could just do enough for Wrexham to look at him again and say, right, okay, he has got something to offer for us. Remember, he was poached. He was a young player with Wrexham. He was poached by Brighton's academy. So he was in a Premier League academy and, was well thought of there. So hopefully He'll be somebody that can play himself back into contention. My personal feeling is that I think we'll honour the deal and let him stay at Grimsby for the season. Not least because of that injury he had. You know, we want him to get a lot of games under his belt. But he's one of the outstanding players this season in League Two. And it'd be brilliant to see him a regular for the rest of the season with Grimsby, continue to perform, and then we can revisit that whole situation. Of course, there's another player in that situation, isn't there? Sam Dalby. And Sam Dalby's doing ever so well. Won the Scottish Premier League Player of the Month award. Wow, that's tasty. So it's fascinating to think about that. I mean, I suppose in his case, Jon Daddy Balverzon is playing for a contract for the rest of the season, obviously. We could look at Dalby's form and say, right, we bring him back now. I mean, it's interesting. I think a lot of people felt that he was going to be, you know, sort of like that. You know, well, let me rephrase that. I think a lot of people felt this is it, the end for Dalby at Wrexham when he gets loaned out. But I couldn't help feeling sending him to a top division is certainly, you know, it's showing that he's got quality. Phil Parkson always said that he was a young player he wanted to develop, like he has said about Farl. And for my money, I mean, you've got to look at Dalby and say maybe the problem for him is we progressed too quickly. You know, he's developing really well, doing well in the National League. He starts our first game of the season in the Football League last season. But, you know, is it that he's developing well, but the level we're playing at keeps jumping up, and maybe he needs another season in the National League to really boss it? And I don't know, I'm speculating. Well, he's clearly ready now because of the way he's playing in very high up level. So, yeah, I would not be surprised if Parkson looks at that and thinks that was a development loan, let's bring him back in. Anyway, I saw a couple of tweets that made me laugh. I did say at the start of the broadcast that round of 32, round of 16, they're boring phrases. Let's have something better. Well, here's a couple. Kelly, I love this, says call it the still cheaps tickets round. That is absolutely terrific. I reckon that might make it difficult to differentiate with the next round should we go through. Gavin France, good work this. Your math teacher would be proud. The quarter final, and then next round is the semi-quarter final. Oh, there's a certain sweet poetry in that. Oh, actually, High Desert Dragon has said I was told we didn't have to do math today, so, oh dear me. You've obviously brought back tragic memories. Walter Nitz, round of 13 should be the round of not ready for primetime 11s. That's very good. GHFBN says, at what point do we start singing Super Brad Foster in goal? Be ahead. Go ahead. Please do. He's a big unit, isn't he? Just like as Chris Maleka points out, Mo Farl. Mo is so tall. 6'5", blimey. Yeah, he's a big gangling lad, isn't he? He doesn't quite have that sort of like technique of the specialist centre forward in terms of winning headers, but because he's so big, he still wins them. He's a fascinating player, isn't he? Let's just see how he's going to develop. Now Trago, man, is brilliant and has really put some thought into this. I need to start a poll, don't I? Which is the best name? Jagerman says 1 divided by 32, or 1 over 32, is the standing gauge 1 model railway scale. So maybe gauge 1 round. Oh, I like that. Otherwise, perhaps stablemate at the racecourse when used for model horses. Oh my goodness, that's quality. I like your hashtag rename round of 32 as well. I think we need to get some traction going for that. Although Sherry, the Wrexham fan, doesn't think that she can top this beautiful effort from Cryptic, who is absolutely in top form. He suggests the round of 32, aka the round of we almost care. Sweet. Very good. So, Anons N says Chester. Oh, sorry, no, beg on Cheetahs 3 dozen. 12, 24, 36. Ah, nice. I see what you've done there. And also having a little look around. Oh, yeah. A few people mentioned that they heard me early on. You heard my sound check. That was a beauty. That was a sound check for the ages. I was very happy about that being picked up. O'Kelly says, I don't know what you were saying at first, but I assumed it was dirty words in Welsh. No, I was counting in Welsh. I was just doing, it's the corny broadcast thing to do a sound check. Just say numbers. And no, so I was only counting in Welsh. I think you may have been assuming when you heard the number 5 in Welsh that I might be talking about something which could be unsavoury, of course, because number 5 in Welsh is pimp. Yeah, it doesn't mean the same, I assure you. I must say, Kelly, I think I know... How many rude words do I know in Welsh? I'm not great with my Welsh, I'm ashamed to say. I can say, and the noun in this phrase is not what I'm going to clean that up, if you will. I can say yellow poo in Welsh. I can call someone a pig. I can tell them to shut their mouth. And there's also a phrase, I'm not going to say it just in case it is worse than I think, but I think it's more of a just exasperating thing to say. It's not offensive. So I've got a sort of mild phrase as well, but that's about it. It's a shame I'm fairly good at picking up bad language in other languages. I once said a terrible thing to a man in the metro in Rome and regretted it. That's a long story. Half time's not long enough for that one. I will tell you a time when I used my Welsh for good, not evil. It was many years ago. I was on a red-eye flight back from New York, as Wrexham now start to come out, and there was a Welsh male voice choir on it who'd been touring the States, apparently, who were not well behaved and were making a hell of a racket at the back, and everyone on the flight was getting upset, and whenever they complained about the noise because people were trying to sleep, they just made more noise. And I was in the row right in front of them, and I thought, I've got to do something here. It's getting a bit silly, this. It was so rude. So I decided to use one of my few bits of Welsh, and I turned round and I said to them, right, if you won't listen to people speaking English, caid dy geg, which is shut your mouth. Ooh, you should have seen the look on their faces when they thought that I understood everything they were saying behind me. Oh, and they were so apologetic. It did the trick. It's so rare that you can get a moment like that where you take a chance and it works. But yeah, that was my great moment in the Welsh language. I was good at Welsh in school, but nowadays it's a legal requirement in Wales to learn Welsh until you're 15, unless there's extenuating circumstances, like say somebody coming from another country, late in their teaching career, educational career, so it's too late to sort of pick it up. But in my day, that wasn't true, and I'm afraid, although I was really good at it, I dropped it when I was 13, and I regret it really, because it's kind of disappeared for me. Anyway, we're about to get things going once more. Waynne and Mia have just sprinted up the steps. It was very impressive, I tell you what. Really.
Mia was quicker than me.
I didn't mention that.
I don't know. I think you had me there, Waynne, to be honest.
All I can say is I got to the top first. Those of his crew get things underway. Feeding back to their own half. Immediately Wrexham press hard. Cannon gets a foot in. The Parkinson effect straight after half time is so obvious, isn't it? The way that suddenly Dobson and Cannon are chasing the ball down, and he really does seem to get them revved up for the start of the second half. I assume just by pressing the reset button and saying, remember when I said we're going to play with intensity? Let's do that. Anyway, here's Powell tidying the ball up, and Crewe build from the right-hand side. It's Billington dropping central and does well. He's calm on the ball and waits for an opportunity. And it arises when Williams comes straying forwards. Crewe just looking at where their players are, and no, I'll reserve that judgment in case I'm wrong, as the ball's played forwards. James intercepts, knocks it down the line. Cannon can only partially flick it on. And the ball's played backwards. Yeah, I was starting to wonder if they'd changed shape at the back, but they haven't. It's just that Finney, the left wing back, is really playing very high up, much higher than the right wing back. As Wrexham win it back in the middle of the pitch forward now, under pressure, holds off 2 men. That's good, but now can he use it? No, he's just got no space to work with. Williams drills it long. Good header again by Aaron James. Dobson works it back. If it wasn't for Max Cleworth, we'd be getting so excited with Aaron James, wouldn't we? But Cleworth's in his path. Here's foul, fighting on the halfway line. Adams stretching, prompts it into his own half and gives it away. Thibault brings it down, high on his chest. Some of the fans shout for handball. It wasn't, and now it's a chance for Lunt, 30 yards out, to feed it to the left-hand side. Williams coming forwards, feeds a return pass. Lunt breaking forwards down the left, forced towards the corner, flagged by James. Neat pass inside, a lovely weighted ball back, is it? Good defending. Aaron James, shoulder to shoulder, too strong for Lunt. Knocks him off balance, it goes for the goal kick.
I think there was only going to be one winner in the strength competition there. James, just guiding the ball out. Crewe starting the second half well, keeping the ball. A bit of intent about them, more so than they had in the first half. In the early stages, they had glimpses in the half, and they had some good efforts on goal, but the intent seems there at the beginning of the second half.
Foul caused a problem for Connolly in the air, but he managed to head it clear, and now here's Roberts again, surging forwards. Cannon sticks with him brilliantly, tackles him, and then it's good work by O'Connor when the ball drops loose. He comes out majestically from the back, down the line to Mendy, who waits for it to arrive, and that lets Billington get a foot in, but he's hurt himself in doing that, and he's crawling along with no force for a moment. The referee has stopped play to see how he is. It'll be a throw to Wrexham, 10 yards into Crewe's half on the left-hand side. And Billington is okay to continue. So Mendy with the ball in his hands. And he's finally given the go-ahead, throws it back into his own half. During half-time, on the Ask Wrexhams, I was accused of saying something filthy in Welsh, but it was only somebody who didn't know Welsh. They heard my sound check and I was counting, so thankfully I didn't cross the line. As Dobson now on the halfway line sweeps it across to Aaron James, so as to scamper backwards to get to that. And Wrexham will want to see maybe a little bit more zip about the way they're going about this, as James puts up a diagonal foul. Good strength, but unluckily the ball dies in the air, and Knight Level's able to come across and actually intercept it. And Wrexham now have it again in their own half. A little bit of mumbling about Dobson's pass, which turns O'Connor, and Wrexham have to start again deep in their own half. It's helped outside by Aaron James, forward or forced backwards. Dobson works it wide. And Wrexham in their own half as O'Connor goes long this time, looking for foul of O'Connor. That's a beg your pardon. Connolly misses his interception, but although Botherson's quick to try and get across, it's easy for Marshall to take. And here now, Crewe begin once more. But yeah, we've not been able to get that sort of tempo we recognise normally in a Wrexham team, as Knight Lebel at the back, just drawing Wrexham players out, not to press, but just to block the passing channels, and in the end it's fed back to Marshall. Marshall thinks about the low pass and then feeds a ball in the middle. That's a cute turn by Lunt, but he runs into Dobson, who plays an unnecessarily complicated little reverse pass and forwards in acres of space out wide.
Yeah, very unlike Dobson. He's been terrific since he's come to the club. What he does in that middle of the park, winning the ball back very well, and then passes it simple and normally to a red shirt. So it comes as a surprise when he gives the ball away, and we've seen a couple this evening.
Now here's Roberts. Crewe on a break. They had 3-on-3 for a moment, but didn't play the ball in. But they got the ball now 25 yards out, and it's rolled in to the feet of Breckin. Fed back out again, and Paul, and here's a chance now on the turn. Good save again by Foster. It's another corner. Hit on the turn firmly. Foster well to get down low to his right.
Yeah, really nice play by Crewe, and like you say, Foster does really well. He's got a number of bodies in front of him, so does really well to get down and make the save. And I just thought for a second he'd parried it back into danger, but I think is it Jacob Mendy in the end who manages to just put it out for that corner.
Yeah, it was slightly unorthodox the way it bounced off him, the opposite way to where he dived. But he did well to get his hands onto that. That was pretty close range. Nice build-up. And a shot on the turn by Roberts. He did well to get his hands to it.
Yeah, it was really good movement by Roberts, who he finds himself out wide a little bit and then just gets right back in that box.
Corner played short. Adam did well there to force in an accurate cross. He got tight to his man. And Wrexham clear. Ford looking to put the pressure on, but it's calmly dealt with by Lunt.
Just really didn't find the corner, did he, with his effort? You know, if he goes towards that far corner, then I think it becomes a little bit more of a problem for Brad Foster in goal for Wrexham. But, you know, you'll put it down to another save. You know, that's next to his name. Not for the first time this evening. 4 or 5 really good saves now. Saves you'd expect goalkeepers to make, but, you know, he'll be pleased with how the game's gone for him up to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a couple of sharp ones in there, to be fair to him. I think he's done all right, hasn't he? Wrexham won't want to be using him regularly, of course. But yeah, he's shown he's got something about him as James is pushed in the back, nothing given. O'Connor's come across on the cover and he scuffs his attempted touch. But Thibault goes to ground, just launches the ball out for a goal kick.
It was a real opportunity there. If he just takes a little bit off that ball, I don't know whether he's just, you know, a bit frustrated and kicks it out, but yeah, I thought Roberts was sort of in that little bit of space by there then. Yeah. So a bit of a wasted opportunity for Crewe. Yeah,
a bit of guile and just thread the ball in behind the back, Wrexham's back three, and they would have been in. But you know, you'd have to say 8-9 minutes of the second half, Wrexham have probably been second best.
Oh, 100%. Here is Dobson. Wrexham, this possession started when Fowle did really well to win a header when Williams was all over him. And now Wrexham feeding it forwards. Cannon, nice pass towards Aaron James, unlucky, tries to beat his man. He gets a foot in on the edge of the Crewe area, but they're moving the ball around pretty well. Knight LaBelle in the end is able to clear. Cannon puts it back in. Powell in a tight area on the left hand side as well, and Lunt as well to work it back out wide. Ball over the top looking for Thibault, but it'll be dealt with comfortably by O'Connor. Thibault just clips him and then apologises, and that allows O'Connor space to get it back to the keeper. We look dynamic when they have the ball, only when Cannon is able to start leading that press, and he seems to be putting a bit more energy into that press, but otherwise Crewe are working the ball around nicely even when it's crowded.
We're finding it a little bit more difficult to get the balls up to the front too. You know, from where we were at the beginning of the game, hopefully something may come from Mendy down the left.
He bursts down the outside, swings across into the far post, it hangs in the air, Ford nods it down, Fowle tries to hit on the turn, Bolverson leaning backwards, slashes it over from 6 yards out. He's on his knees now with his hands on his hips. He can't believe he hasn't managed to steer that in.
Well, I can't believe it either, Mark, to be honest. Yeah. Can't believe he hasn't hit the target, you know, from that far out. I think he's probably stretching for it. Is he? Maybe I'm just waiting on the replay, but it falls to Fowle first of all. Well, first of all, it's a really nice header back in from Anthony Ford to keep it alive. But then falls to Fowle, and I'm sort of thinking, can he wrap his foot round it, and it just doesn't maybe quite land for him, and then he's just stretching for it a bit, doesn't quite sit for him, Bodvarsson. But you're just wondering, you know, can a striker of that quality just hit the target from that close range?
A harder chance than what it looked, I think, to try and get a ball. You know, he's falling backwards, you know, he's gone with it to try and power it into that top corner. I think the idea is right, but I think it's made even more difficult because he's falling to the ground. So I think, you know, it's a hard chance for Bodvarsson.
Ford, that's a cute piece of interchange. Little Cannon overhits a pass to him. Cannon, like I said, gets straight back and wins it, and he is the player putting a bit of pep into Wrexham's work, and we haven't got the ball. Yeah, the other thing I guess with that chance, Fowle actually got his shot off pretty well, takes a deflection, and Balderson I think just got to quickly react, but it was a chance, isn't it? 6 yards out. If he'd just been able to keep that down, that would have been 1-0. Long diagonal by Scar, and Mendy forces a throw in about 25 yards out. He's looking around for early options, and in the end finds Adam, who works it down the line. Mendy now, a chance again to take on his man. He just burst past and put a good cross in. Now he's drawn to him, then finds Adam on the corner of the box. Adam, this time, holds on to the ball for a bit and tees Mendy up again. Early cross in the near post. Only a half clears. Shot driven and blocked. Another chance for O'Connor, who had the first shot. Handled it inadvertently, to be fair, when it came back to him, and the referee gives the handball against him.
I think it might be a bit frustrating for the two big lads, Mo Farl and Bodvarsson. They both made that run into penalty area when the ball possibly could have come in off James. We see in the replay it's gone back to him now, just half a yard, and whip it in. They've made the run, they have to check, they have to come back, and it's difficult for centre forwards, and they get annoyed by it. I've played with many of them, who want that ball into penalty area, and by making a run and the ball not coming, it becomes difficult for them, and I think the two of them were frustrated that James never put a ball in on that occasion.
Here now is Lunt feeding it forwards. Mendy's able to get a foot in, clears it long. Knight Labelle back to his keeper Marshall. 58th minute.
Yeah, Phil just having a go at these players to get out. They're dropping too deep. The pitch is becoming big. They're finding it harder to get close to blue shirts who are keeping the ball better than Wrexham. And that's what he will want. And we're getting to that stage now where we are going to see changes. I think Crewe are going to be the first team to make the change in the second half, and there'll be no surprises when we see the big boys coming on for Wrexham.
Yeah, interesting how Parkinson times that, of course. Saturday is much more important than this, but as Bothersson works hard to force the back pass, yeah, everything's to see when he decides that alteration should be made, and to see if he thinks Dobson should come off after a period of time.
Interesting to see if Dobson goes straight back in Saturday.
Well, that's it, yeah.
And that'll be the question, I think, being asked when we arrive here Saturday afternoon. It's a decision, the manager has to make. The three who played last weekend will feel, a game they've won. But we've seen Phil make changes when the team have won in the past. He'll pick a team that he feels will be right to go out and beat Cambridge on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. So if he's thinking pick him on Saturday, will Dobson get the rest? We can only wait and see, I guess, as here Knight Labelle works it wide. I see Aidan Davison's got some paperwork in his hands. Crewe got two subs ready to come on. Ball's driven long and Scar slashes it out of play. Is this a chance to bring them on? It's taken quickly instead. Dobson mistimes his jump, and there's danger here as Roberts guides the edge of the area. Drills the shot, and Foster, good hands. Takes it cleanly. There's Lunt, beg your pardon. He was good 25 yards out. Ooh, Foster's kick isn't great, and Lunt heads it forwards, but nice work by James. Dispossesses Roberts. Drills a long one for Farl, who takes it well on the halfway line. Unlucky. Just runs out of pitch in the end. Well, Ryan Cooney is one of the players who's going to come on, and he was in the starting 11 last Saturday, and as was Joel Taberner, really talented young midfielder. So Crewe are going to ramp up the experience on their side, and as if in response, Paul Mullin starts to warm up. He is Farl now, tight area, good feet, but in the end he's outnumbered. The back pass isn't in danger. Bothersson was floating around, but Knight Labelle get there first. Dobson lunges in with a hard tackle as Crewe clear it long, and O'Connor goes back to Foster. Yeah, he'd left a little bit on his man, I thought, Dobson. Then he came in from the wrong angle, but I think managed to not make that much contact on the man. As Cannon, that's a lovely ball down the right channel. Botherson's only got Farl up in, but he swings it in early, and it's prodded up in the air by Williams. Knight Labelle gets decent contact on his volley clear. Cannon heads towards the edge of the box again, and it's headed away, throw in to Wrexham. Will Crewe make the change now? No, because Aaron James very quickly gets on with it. Scar to Dobson in the centre circle, helping it on again to the left. Adam has got an option outside him in Mendy. Mendy's been Wrexham's best source, really, of decent delivery into the box. And here he is now, squares it to Dobson, 30 yards out. Cute ball to the feet of Bothersson in the D. He feeds it back out again. Cannon helps her on James, little bit of space, works it quickly to wide. Ford, tights in the touchline, comes inside. Taking on his man, swings a left foot across the far post. Farl just beaten to it. Mendy tries a volley back in and slices it behind for the goal kick. That would have been one hell of a goal if he'd managed to score from there.
Yeah, good good builder play again. You know, after a spell of coming under the cosh a little bit, you know, Dobson finding his red shirts as he normally does most of the time, and they got the ball quickly into Bodvarsson, and then you're thinking once the ball comes to the right hand side, something may come of it. But you know, Mendy, you know, poor execution in the end from the effort. You know, I don't know whether it's a shot on goal or he just needs to hook it back into the penalty area. Hook it back in, and you hope that Bodvarsson or Morthal might be on the end of it.
Well, he wanted it to be a shot on goal, didn't he? He didn't get his wish, really. Anyway, it's going to be a triple change as it happens, because they're also going to bring on Matis Holicek, who didn't start at the weekend, but has started started 9 games in the league this season. And so the alterations see Finney come off, so one of the very inexperienced players, replaced by Taberner. Why are we booing him? Or are the Crewe fans booing that they've taken Finney off? Nah, I don't know. Also, Thibault is going to come off. On comes Holicek. Now, he's a midfielder. They're just generally booing Crewe players, I think, to be honest. And Cooney is going to replace Zach Williams. So, one senior player going off. I say senior, he's 20, but he's a regular. He's played every league game this season. Good centre-back.
I think we'll be seeing Elliot Lee shortly. He's stripped off, ready to come. Could that be the sign for Dobson to have done his work for the evening? 62, 63 minutes on the clock. You know, good workout. And then ready and raring to go again, hopefully.
Well, Cooney has come onto the left-hand side. He usually plays right wing-back, but he's playing on the left. As game restarts, Dobson feeds it backwards. And O'Connor goes long over the top. Budverson as well, dealt with by Knight Labelle. And a little bit of a lucky touch for Connolly, who manages to turn away from foul after a miscontrol. Mendy gets a foot in and the ball bounces in midfield. Cannell gets control of it, but the challenge on him means his pass is inaccurate again, though he's snapping around, pressuring, and so is Bodvarsson. He caught his man though, and that'll be a free kick. As I thought, Billington's gone across to be a centre-back now to fill the gap Williams left.
I think the changes that's needed really for Wrexham, just to put a bit of spark into the game again. You know, one player who can sparkle things up. The goal scorer from Saturday, Elliot Lee.
And he's going to replace Bodvarsson, so he's going to look to link Farl with the midfield, which is something, frankly, Wrexham need. I think we've not been able to create enough. It did feel to me like that was the sort of change.
Mullins coming on.
Mullin as well. The other thought I had. Hang on. Now then, they put Bodvarsson. The fourth officials put Bodvarsson's number up again. I think bringing him off twice would be harsh, wouldn't it, mate?
I think it's James. He knows. He stood. Josh Adams. Sorry, he knows. He stood a couple of yards away from Mullin, just waiting for his number to go up.
Yeah, the fourth official's having a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. he got one of the Crewe substitutions wrong, put 25 up, and there's not a 25 on the pitch, so I don't know what's going on down there. I think he might have had a rough Tuesday.
Call me old-fashioned, but seen as time wasting is bad, should the ref book the fourth official? That's a sarcastic cheer when he finally manages to programme Adams' number and Mullin comes on to replace him. I know you're supposed to show the board, but if you're having that much trouble, you're taking a chunk of time out of the game.
And he stood there waiting.
Yeah. Can't we just say, well, look, just the paperwork's correct. Just let him come on.
It's to let the supporters know, innit?
Yeah. But stuff the supporters. We want to see football.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a free kick's Crewe in their own half, and Marshall launches it long. Just looking at the replay, puts it straight out of play. It's enlivened the crowd a bit. Mullin was laughing his head off when he came on as well. So, Wrexham got Mullin and Lee up front now. Let's see how that...
Mullin and Farl, yes, Lee's just gone into his normal midfield left side role, alongside Andy Cannon, Dobson, that sitting role. But you'll see Lee linking up with the front two.
There's now Farl fighting away. outnumbers. Cannonball snap into a challenge. No, he's put pressure on.
Oh, go on.
Cooney,
There you go.
that's a sloppy ball back, and a crucial tackle by Knight LaBelle. Or Mullin would have been one-on-one with the keeper. Foul is taken out. That's a poor challenge, that. Immediately, Connolly is apologising to the ref, saying I didn't mean it, which tells you that he thinks he's in trouble. Foul is in a bit of pain here. I mean, how high was that challenge is my question.
It'd be harsh if it was a red for me. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
I don't think Fowl was too keen on going in himself. But we'll see from the replay.
And no, it's a yellow, isn't it? I think.
He's gone for the like, sort of block
Yeah.
challenge, and I think Fowl, by not going in fully committed, he's probably found himself coming out the worst of the two.
There's a little bit. I mean, wonders whether. Well, let's look at the replay again. Yeah, he sort of stepped in a bit. I'm not saying it's over the ball, but he's caught him, hasn't he? Ref hasn't boxed him, in fact. And maybe I agree, actually. Yeah, it was more of a hard. Connolly took a very heavy touch, and that often leads to a red card when a player tries to make up and stretch in, but he didn't really stretch in. It was a hard tackle, but yeah, the refs played that pretty much right. As Wrexham take the free kick, and the referee says he's not ready. It's his free kick. Oh, beg your pardon, he did give a yellow to Connolly. So free kick taken. Dobson swings the ball in the box. It's headed clear. Throw into Wrexham by the corner flag, right hand side. It's going to be taken by Ford. Cannon's made a nice little run. There's only a player offering for him at the moment, really. And it's thrown into him, and he hooks it into the goal mouth. It's partly cleared. And Crewe in the end find Powell, who in the box invites trouble. Cannon gets a foot in. Powell's managed to come out with the ball. Knocks it long. Good firm header that by Scar, and he's backed into. Free kick to Wrexham. Tabiner, who's sort of gone up front, or playing off Roberts, backing into him.
You just feel, Mark, that Crewe have been pushed back a little bit. After the bright start they made to the second half, now Wrexham again back on top, spending more time in the opposition half. Made a couple of good substitutions at the right time, and you just feel this game's there for another 1-0 win. Let's hope it comes to Wrexham, before that dreaded penalty shootout if they had to go there.
Yeah, absolutely. As Wrexham sloppy in their own half then, but Dobson tidies up and drills a good ball to the right to Aaron James. Yeah, there's no extra time in this competition. So 90 minutes, the teams are equal. It'll be penalties. Cannon's been waiting for the ball to be delivered to him for a while. He's given up on that now as Ford feeds it backwards. And here's O'Connor on the halfway line. Wrexham pushing on here as the ball's prodded forwards by Lee Farrell. Good strength. Holds off his man. Back to Lee on the left flank. Early ball's a good one. Mullin dummies. O'Connor around the corner. Looking for Mullin. Doesn't quite find him. And Marshall is able to launch the ball clear from a back pass. Here now Wrexham win it back again. Lee's done really well there. Surges down the flank. Connolly makes a good interception but can't keep it in. Shame, because Wrexham were quick to win it back and Mullin was in on goal. But it's a throw in. Mendy takes it to Lee on the goal line, holding the ball up just outside the box, left hand side. Little drag back, gets past two. Brilliant from Lee. Oh, and the defender blocks his cross. He was trying to pick up foul in the 6-yard box. Mullin blocks the clearance, throw into Crewe, but yeah, all of a sudden they're getting tested at the back, aren't they?
Yeah, well, Lee's come on and he's looked unbelievably sharp. It's a lovely turn to get out of an area where you just think he's going nowhere. He's got two Crewe defenders right round him. Just manages to find his way into the box and just can't get that ball into feet. I think he's decided the shot is none, so tried to probably play in Mo Fowl and just can't quite find him from the tight angle, but does so well to turn away from him.
It's exactly what you want as a manager when you make substitutions, for them to come on and have an immediate impact. And I think they've worked better for Wrexham than they have for Crewe, even though Wrexham are the team defending at the moment.
Yeah, dangerous that was. Cooney accelerating down the flank. Ford did well to stick with him. Pulled back to the edge area. Chance for a shot, and it's put well off target as a attempted curler. Trying to rip it in. Well off from Billington.
Yeah, sorry, Mark. Another good chance for Crewe. I thought Roberts, I think it was, who had the ball initially, and I thought he'd actually gone the wrong way. He had a man on his right hand side making a really good run, arguably in more space, and Cooney does really well, not taking anything away from him on this left hand side. Brilliant pace to get to the ball, But I just thought they maybe had a bit more of a chance on that right hand side. But again, showing they've got that potential to hurt Wrexham on the counter attack.
Yeah, they certainly opened us up as Ford, who was outpaced by Cooney, but did well to stick with him. Otherwise, Cooney would have been in on goal. Feeds it forwards, inaccurate though. Mike LaBelle works it back to his keeper. Into the last 19 minutes now, it's still 0-0. Long ball forwards, Aaron James again wins it well in the air, and then Cannon is penalised. I thought he was tripped by Lunt. Goes the other way. Quick free kick by Powell's a beauty. And now here's danger. Taberner cutting in from the left hand side. Roberts in the middle. Tries a shot from a tight angle. Another good parry by Foster. Over his head, got his hands up to it quickly. It's a corner.
Yeah, Powell brighter than anybody else on the field, taking the quick free kick, catching Wrexham out down this left hand side, and another good save. Again, he's got his angle completely right. Foster, covering that near post so he doesn't sneak in past him, and parried a good effort away yet again. So it's been a good night for him.
Corner then, left hand side. Crewe having had a real wobbly spell, forcing a chance of their own. Now, what can they deliver from the set piece? There's been in-swinger. There's a crowd around the goalkeeper Foster as Powell signals. Sweeps it under the bar, punched by Foster. Doesn't go very far, but he's got it partly away. It's hooked back in. Big shout for handball against Wrexham, and I think we were saved by the ref being on a blind side there, weren't we?
James was the man. I don't know if he could do too much about it, Mark. He's probably a yard away from the ball. I shouted handball, but obviously I didn't want a penalty to be given. But no, quite often you see corners now just being, pushed in towards that 6-yard area. A lot of bodies in there, and the keeper dealt with it well.
Yeah, Dobson turns nicely, drives forwards, but he doesn't get the pass right. Yeah, the danger for me is just that his hand is up, isn't it? Yeah. His hand's like shoulder height. And the ref was definitely on his blind side. I'm glad he didn't have to make that decision, to be honest. Yeah, Foster punched it up in the air. And when it was nodded down, the shot came in. He is very close, isn't he? It'd be harsh, but, Not that I bear grudges. David Phillips against Scotland, 1985. That's all I'm saying. We should have gone to that World Cup. Robbery.
We still talk about it.
Oh, too right. Yeah,
yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have it carved on my gravestone so that nobody will forget.
How could we?
Exactly. Well, by then, my gravestone will be like a big tourist attraction. Oh, it's a good ball forward. Dobson can't quite take it in his stride, but it's cleared only to Ford, who's got his man isolated, drills it an early foul, takes it off Mullins' toe, feeds it back out to Ford on the right. Chaos, this. James on the overlap. Ford feeds him in. James, first time cross. Good ball. Foul, gets up, gets under it. Free header, 8 yards out.
It was Mendy, I think. Yes, it was Mendy.
Just mistimed the jump slightly, didn't he, though, and powered it over.
Yeah, he's made a terrific run, hasn't he? Mendy from that left-hand side. Quite often we see it when we're watching Wrexham in League One. Barney down one side, McLean coming in the other side, or vice versa. And again, that's what we saw then. Anthony Ford down the right-hand side, producing, and Mendy makes a run into penalty area that you can't defend. It's virtually impossible, but just couldn't get above the ball to head it on target.
Here's Aaron James again, striding forwards. Good ball in, that was by him for Mendy. Lee, nice little ball down to Cannon, who chips over the top, well read, and intercepted by Cooney, who looks good since he's come on. Like I say, he is their first choice fullback, admittedly on the other side of the pitch. Not the best clearance by him, though. And Scar attacks it and takes control, turns Taberner, Roberts rather, gets it back to the keeper. We've got 15 minutes left, or Bradley Foster will have a penalty shootout on his CV from his debut. Dobson around the corner. Scar looks up, plays the diagonal. Foul is attacking that. Marshall comes and grabs it right at the extremity of his penalty area. Good take by the keeper. And it's bowled out. Wrexham scrapping away to try and claim it back, but it's held up well by Taberner. And now Crewe once more can just rework the ball in their own half, slowing it down a bit. Powell. He's lasted very well, Powell. Like I said, his first start in 14 months. And he's been very solid for their midfield as well. Here he shows for it again. He looks sprightly. Back to Marshall. And Crewe again moving out from the back as Mullin on his own chases. Yeah, he's just having a nice little run out there, isn't he? No one's joining him. Ford does now, and Wrexham start to close down the distances between them and the Crewe players. But having said that, James can't stop the pass forwards, and it's a nice little ball down the flank first time by Billington. And now Tabernet has got O'Connor isolated on the wrong side. The back three beats him and then tries a long-range shot, which is never coming back in onto Trouble Foster.
No, but really nice play from Crewe. Work it out from the back, really patient. Just try and move Wrexham bodies around the press. Like you said, Mark, wasn't really there. It was sort of Paul Mullin on his own. Then we sort of in dribs and drabs start going at it, and it gets beaten because it's not a very good press in all honesty. And Crewe play around it quite easily and find himself in that little bit of space. And it's a good effort. You can see what he's trying to do, just wrap it round. Can't quite wrap it round into that far corner though and get it on target.
Now here's an interesting change. Dobson and Mendy off. Revan and Palmer on. So we've got Mullin, Palmer and Farl on the pitch at the same time.
The fourth official's made another mistake, I think.
Dobson staying on, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
Is he dropping back into...
It's Ford, isn't it? Beg your pardon.
We've gone back to a back four, maybe.
Yeah.
Revan on the left, James on the right, Tom O'Connor, Dan Scarr, two centre-backs. Dobson just in front sitting. Yeah. And then you got... It's like a diamond, isn't it? Dobson, the back of the diamond, Mullin, the head of the diamond, Cannon and Lee, and the two big lads up top, Palmer and Mo Farl.
Wrexham go long and Palmer wins his first header comfortably against Billington. Crewe looking to pass out from the back. That's nice.
I think that's what they call it these days, don't they? A diamond shape, yes, yeah.
You got it, Wayne. You know what you're talking about.
It's Phil Parkinson's default kitchen throwing formation, isn't it? As here now playing as a right back is Aaron James, and we know we can get the pitch comfortably. Farl gets up, creates a loose ball. Revan bursts onto it nicely on the left side of the box. Can he deliver? Inside to Mullin, who hits it. Brilliant block. Poor Mullin. Again, he's screaming. He's so frustrated. Did nothing wrong there, but a terrific block after a great surge by Revan. Big chance, but great defending.
Yes, I'll just hold. For 1 second.
Dobson delivers into the box. Defender heads it clear. Wrexham are really coming on strong here. It's going to be kept in on the right by Mullin, who sweeps a great ball back in. Free header! And Wrexham score! Lovely ball in by Mullin. Is that Aaron James?
It's Aaron James, yes. Aaron James.
Wow. His first goal in senior football. What a fantastic cross by Mullin, though. And Aaron James heads it home, a free header. Like I said, his first professional goal, and he deserves it. He's put in a hell of a good shift. And Wrexham take the lead.
Oh, he'll be feeling good, Aaron James. It's a terrific goal. You know, not only the header, the ball in of Paul Mullin, who came very close to getting the goal himself, other than a terrific block by the Crewe defenders. But... you know, the ball was kept in play. Could easily have let it go out for a throw in, Paul Mullin. He wanted to keep the game alive, and then he whipped one into that near stick, and there was James to get his head on the ball and give the goalkeeper no chance. It's the 1-0 we said, and Wrexham have gone and got that goal.
It's the classic sort of a cliche as well of he made sure he got on top of the header and headed it downwards, and the low, it's sort of fairly close to Marshall, but he's got power, it's downwards, and the keeper genuinely, as Wayne says, has no chance because he's really made good contacts on an excellent cross. Here's a bit of a concern. Wrexham, is it Dobson? No, it's not Dobson.
Tom O'Connor, I think it is.
Yeah, he's gone down holding his head. He looks like he's all right to get up himself. No.
I think we can go back as well, Mark, to a minute or so before the goal. The impact another sub Revan had, you know, came on and looked really good from the moment he did. You know, it started on that far side when he put the ball into the box. Mullin thinking he'd gone and got that goal, and the defending was absolutely wonderful defending. But, you know, moments later, Crewe undone by a very good header from the youngster.
Yeah, it was Billington on Mullin making that block, and Crewe celebrated like he was the one who scored, which shows, you know, that, you know, they're really wanting to get something out of this game. But, you sometimes when moments like that happen, you can switch off, and I think they think probably Paul Mullen's going to let that second phase go for a throw, and he doesn't, keeps it alive really well. Andy Cannon makes a really good run round him, doesn't use him, and it's a delicious ball into the box. And Aaron James, for a defender, you get your head on that ball and finds the back of the net wonderfully.
Absolutely. The substitutions have really upped Wrexham's game. Just seen a replay of the Mullen opportunity, and
I think we felt that when we saw the team sheets, didn't we, before the game, that it could be a game where substitutions play a key role because of the quality we are bringing on, and that's proved the case here again this evening. I wouldn't say we've been the better of the two teams. We haven't had the better of the chances. But as we've seen in recent weeks, in 3 or 4 of the games, we haven't conceded. And you always feel with Wrexham, most certainly here at the racecourse, that they will go and get a goal. And as it happens, they've done the same this evening.
Well, O'Connor did get treatment. He's off the pitch now. I think he banged his nose, possibly, looking at the way he's just touching the bridge of his nose. They're getting some blood off his face. So, long throw-in comes in from Cooney into the Wrexham box. Palmer gets it well. It's then helped on further by Scarp. Another chance for Cooney to hurl along with it. He's got short options. And O'Connor, I think, looks like he's going to ask to come back on. But Wrexham down to 10 men with the centre back off as the ball's swept in dangerously. Foster, good take. Fair play to him. He took it off the head of the striker as Powell ripped that cross in.
Good take again, wasn't it? Very good. You're thinking, you get asked quite often this stage of games, you start thinking about MOMs.
Yeah.
Aaron James will feel a goal, scoring a goal to win a game might give him a chance, but for me the goalkeeper's been really good. In most things he's done. Other than the kick, he's just kicked out of play. Commentator's curse, that's called, isn't it? Yes, when I'm building him up, I haven't given him the man of the match yet, but I was building it up for him, and he goes and kicks the ball out of play. But the 4 or 5 good saves, and not only the saves, I think the first thing he did in the game this evening, he came for a corner and dealt with it well. He's dealt with a couple of good crosses in the second half. He's also dealt with 2 or 3 good corners. So, good evening for him.
Absolutely, as Crewe are now going to make a couple more changes. Experienced player in Max Sanders comes on in midfield. Roberts coming off, and youngster Stan Dancy is going to come on. As this pantomime, this Crewe players getting booed. They're outnumbered, the Crewe fans, but they've tried to make good noise. They're 285 Crewe fans in an attendance of 3,119. I'll do the maths if I have to see how much the Crewe fans are outnumbered. As the throw-in's taken, and the ball goes out for a throw to Crewe, just inside the Wrexham half on the right-hand side.
They've got to go for it, haven't they? It's a cup game, cup football, knockout stage. They're 1-0 behind. I'd expect them to have a right go in the next 5, possibly 10 minutes with the injury time we may see, and that may leave a couple of big holes for Wrexham to capitalise on. And should they go and get a second goal, then it would make life a little bit more comfortable going into the very late stages of the game.
Breckin was the other player to come off. Here is Stancy's first involved, another high looping throw, which Lee scoops up in the air, fouled as well defensively to head it clear, and it's smashed away. I remember the first game after Fletcher was injured, we didn't bring Farl on, and we were all speculating whether that was because we needed to leave Palmer on the pitch for set pieces. Maybe Farl couldn't be trusted to win those headers as well as Palmer does. And he did well there. And now here is Marshall sweeping out to the left-hand side. Billington immediately put under pressure by Ollie Palmer. The ball goes back and Marshall launches that. Good contact, but Scar, equally good contact, heading it deep in the Crewe half. Helped down the flank by Cooney. And then a cute idea around the corner, but Taberner will be beaten to it by O'Connor, who feeds it back to Foster. Good work then by Revan, actually, who just blocked off a Crewe player to make sure Foster had enough time to get it clear. He's put out for a throw again. Cooney will take it.
Just need to manage the game now. Do what we've done for the last 4 games, not concede. I think as far back as Stockport since we last conceded a goal. 16th of November. Excellent defensively, we've been.
Well, here's danger though. It's a lovely little switch by Sanders, and a layoff to the outside is just not quite played right. Ball fed backwards. The crowd cheer because the referee slipped over, and in the end the Crewe move comes to nothing. Better decision making then, and we were wide open.
Yeah, well, got to give credit to Mo Farrell there. I was just talking about him just a few minutes ago about his defensive duties, and he does really well to track his man and just delay any opportunities that the Crewe man has in that sort of position. You know, just make sure he doesn't give him that space, that room to get the ball into the box or get a shot off as well. So well done, Mo Farrell.
Throw in taken, but Crewe headed back in the Wrexham box, and Scar's in trouble here. He's managed to prod it away from the immediate danger, but it's going to come back in as Taberner works it wide. Dancy chips it in. Foster again takes that well, and he does the full Miyabi and drops on the ground to waste a bit more time. I'd forgotten all about the clean sheets, Wayne. Last time we let a goal in at home is early October against Northampton.
Yeah.
And if we do keep a clean sheet here, it's an outright record, most home clean sheets in a row since we joined the Football League in 1921, which is really...
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, club records are club records. We can't claim to be the third oldest club in the world and ignore before 1921. But that's the first time you're actually playing in a league against equivalent quality sides. So those records have more meaning.
Yeah, it's a formidable place, the racecourse. You know, this calendar year, only 2 teams have gone away with the wins. Tranmere and Bradford being those 2 teams, Mark.
Yeah.
There's only 2 other teams who have gone away with a point. That's how good we have been here.
Remarkable, isn't it?
You know, turning up, it is remarkable to think. You know, it's been a terrific year, you know, and hopefully that continues into the new year, because there's some good games coming up, starting here Saturday against Cambridge before that Christmas period. Always excited about the Christmas period. Christmas and Easter periods in football terms, you know, gets you excited. Can't wait. Probably more so than my Christmas dinner on Christmas Day. Looking forward to Boxing Day. Hopefully the wife's not listening.
There's Dancy.
There's something about it, Christmas games.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dancy just squanders possession as Crewe are getting players forwards, and Wrexham can slow it down once more. 2 minutes plus added time left as Revan wins a throw in his own half. Yeah, the stat that keeps occurring to me as well is that Parkinson's been here 3.5 years. In all that time, we've only conceded the first goal twice. Oh, I beg your pardon. We've only taken the lead and not won twice at home.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Over 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The Grimsby playoff, sadly, we score first and lose. And a game the same season against Maidenhead, which we were leading, and then equalised 93rd minute. Palmer helps on nicely. Mullen brings it down. You've got 2 defenders to beat, though, and they crowd him out more than anything else. Good foot in by Palmer. Puts it behind for the goal. Kick, game management, just keeping Crewe at the right end of the pitch. But yeah, it's remarkable. If we score first under Parkinson,
we tend to win. Or not lose. Not lose anyway.
Yeah. So, short goal kick taken. Marshall feeds it over to the right-hand side. Connolly feeds it forwards. They've got a pattern of play to work themselves out from this position, but Wrexham are committing men forwards well, and Crewe have done well to work it down the right, but Lee stands going, and then Revan jumped in on that tackle. Referee's just given a free kick. Nothing more.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, was it? I'm not sure whether he did slip, but maybe lucky to get away with no card there.
Absolutely. He really lost his footing. There's now here good foot in by Cannon. Dobson has it. I think the official man of the match is just named as Foster, was it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Because I didn't quite catch it. Looked at the screen.
Dan Scar came up on the scoreboard.
Right,
yes, yeah. But Foster was mentioned, and you know, no question about it. I'm sure we'd all agree.
He's done well, hasn't he?
You know, he's had a good game. You know, he's kept Crewe at bay with terrific saves, and you know, we just felt that 1 goal would come for us, and you know, we're going into 6 minutes of injury time now.
6 minutes? What? Where's that come from? Is he having a nightmare with the board again? I mean, O'Connor was treated.
I think that's for all the time he spent wasting trying to sort the subs out, to be honest, Mark.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. Ooh, it's going to be a salty comments from the ref, isn't there? You know, why's the guys all that time on, mate? I'm still astonished by that. That was Cooney wins a good header, well read by O'Connor. Puts it out of play, throw to Wrexham, and that's Crewe. And they got a chance to put the pressure on. Tabern has stolen a hell of a lot of yards here. The ref spotted it, to be fair. Sent him back a good, 15 yards, 20 yards to the correct position. But he'll be able to put it in the box from here. The centre-backs are up.
Yeah, a lot of time now for Crewe to just, try and get something from this game and try and get to penalties.
It's hurled into the box. Palmer, as ever, is there to head clear. Cushioned header back out wide though, and now Powell's been able to receive it and turn and face goal. Works a little 1-2 in midfield. Wrexham crowding the middle of the pitch, but Crewe have worked through it beautifully. Sanders now edge of the area, feeds it down the left. Knight Labelle's after it, and it's Dobson taking control, runs it behind for the goal kick. Great anticipation.
Had some good play, haven't they? Crewe, good footballers. Play the right way. Doesn't surprise us one bit in what we saw last season. They came here early on and it was a cracking game. Drifted away that tail end of the season. And again, shown tonight, the youngsters, have got careers ahead of them, but we find a way of winning again. And, it'll please the Wrexham supporters that the home run goes on and we're into the hat. Well, hopefully into the hat. 4 minutes yet, still to go.
Hold your horses, Wayne.
I'm jumping the gun a little bit, aren't I? That's how confident I am, Mark, with 4 minutes remaining, that we can make it into the hat for the next stage. And then one eye will be on the draw for the next round.
BBC giving you some bad habits, Wayne. Throwing down the line by James. Headed clear. And Crewe pick her up in their own half. Early ball launched forwards by Cooney. Scar heads it back into the Crewe half. Crewe win that though. Dobson again does well to read. Nods it to Scar, who launches it over the top. Knight Lebel, who's been very good at the back for me, the young centre-back, gets it clear. Pass forwards is a nice idea, but the cute ball around the corner by Taberner, intercepted by Dobson. And now Fowler's on the chase, forcing the back pass from Connolly. Wrexham working hard in these closing stages. Nearly halfway through the 6 minutes of added time. Sorry, I just can't believe that. As Crewe come forwards again. Worked over to the left-hand side. And now it's a chip into the box. Poor ball then. Foster confidently takes it on his chest. Going back to that Dobson then, just winning that goal kick. It's something I really like about Dobson. I think that's something which also really helps our solidity. He's very good in his own penalty area. He really tracks runs well, doesn't he? And, situations like that, just stepping in and reading a situation. He's so good in those sort of spots.
Yeah, I think I'd describe him as, intelligent in those moments. He just makes the right decision, in that scenario. I think some players you might find just will try and get a touch on the ball and maybe force an unnecessary corner or throw in. And George Dobson, like we saw a few minutes ago, just keeps it out for that goal kick and maintains possession for his side and takes the pressure off, really. I think that's what one of his biggest assets is, just making sure that pressure is lowered.
There's here a Crewe coming forwards again. Ball over the top, just overhead. And an attempt is successful to stop it going for the goal kick. A throw in it is. Luntz dinked it over the top nicely. Taberner just couldn't quite get there in time, but at least hooked it away for a throw rather than the goal kick. And Wrexham will have to get themselves out from by the corner flag.
Yeah, just a touch from me on Dobson. What just on top of what Mia just said, it's not luck. It's just a skill that he has, and it's a good skill that he does really well. As is a striker scoring goals, as is a defender keeping out the ball, as is a goalkeeper making saves. George Dobson has terrific strengths to his game.
Revan feeds to the edge of the area. Mullen just has to go backwards to the receiver. Here's Cannon now. Out to James on the overlap on the right hand side. He feeds it backwards. Crewe have dropped very deep, and Wrexham recognised the chance to move it around in midfield rather than deliver it in. Aaron James, good decision by him. In the end, it goes back to Foster.
Just a case of keeping the ball now for the next minute. Whether it's in their own half or the opposition half. I think Crewe have probably just run out of ideas in the end, where they just tried to force it a bit in the last 5-10 minutes. That final ball was just not quite good enough for them.
Marshall now. Mullen's got close. Mullen got a foot in. And Marshall just about managed to toe poke it wide. Crewe still looking to build out from the back. Billington on the left-hand side, deep in his own half. Can they get the ball forwards one more time? Find something meaningful. 30 seconds left. Wrexham lead 1-0 through Aaron James's first professional goal. But here come Crewe now, crossing the halfway line. There's a ball outside, which is played. And Cancy plays the ball into the far post. A little bit of space for Lunt here. Brings it down in the left corner of the box. James now has got to try and stop the cross from coming in, and he stands up well. Fed back to the corner of the box once more. Billington crosses. Revan's under there. Oh, good header by O'Connor. Attacked that so well. And that is the final whistle. Wrexham are through to the round of 16. And, well, just about deserved it. But let's be honest, Bradley Foster with a terrific unexpected debut made sure that Crewe didn't get a goal past us.
No, on your debut, it's never easy to come in and put in a solid performance like that. I think most of the saves he made, I think you'd expect him to make, but that doesn't make him any less difficult. I think coming in, he's been here a matter of days, really, hasn't he? And to play that well on your debut is massive credit to him. And I think the lads in front of him helped him out massively as well. I thought just then that final touch from O'Connor, that header for me it's as good as the Aaron James goal. Massive, and I think another brilliant win for Wrexham at home. The sort of form continues, and great to still be in this competition. I think the boys who've started tonight will want to stay in this competition for as long as they can, because at the moment this is how they're getting their minutes.
Yeah, delighted, Mark. Whether it's a Vertu trophy, knockout stage game or League One game, I'm excited and pleased when Wrexham win a football game. And the most important thing is putting the ball in the back of the nets, and Wrexham were able to do that this evening. Crewe had chances. The goalkeeper produced some good saves for Wrexham to keep the ball out, and the one real good chance that came to Wrexham in the second half, other than the Mullin, there was an excellent block. The one real chance, excellent ball in of Paul Mullin. He wasn't going to miss his opportunity to be the match winner this evening, and put Wrexham into the hat for the next round.
Absolutely great outcome for Wrexham. The substitutions definitely made a big difference there. Well, Mia and Waynne are going to be popping down to pitch side now, and so you can pick them up on their post-match thoughts on the club's YouTube channel, as the Wrexham players, beg your pardon, just muted my own microphone. Wrexham players making their way off the pitch. It was a performance that was enlivened when substitutes came on. Lee really made an impact when he came on, as did Mullin and Palmer as well. Cannon had to come on for the unfortunate James Jones, who picked up a knock, sadly, on his first game back from injury as well, which is such a shame for him. But Wrexham go through to the next round of the Vertu Trophy. It started as the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. It turned into the Vertu Trophy, and for Wrexham it turned out that patience is a virtue, as Aaron James scored that 79th minute winner. I know, I heard what I just said. It was embarrassing, wasn't it? 14 shots by Wrexham, 3 on target, 10 shots by Crewe, 7 on target, which tells you something about what Foster did in terms of his efforts. Wrexham just edging the possession stats, but the fact of the matter is that ultimately bringing on those subs outgunned Crewe. They brought in some experienced players as well off the bench, first team players, but it was Wrexham's side that had the strength and depth and ultimately the winning touch. So with a final score of Wrexham 1, Crewe Alexandra 0, we go into the hat for the 16th, round of 16, whatever, what are we going to call it? The semi-quarter final. I like that. Good news for Wrexham. And with that final score, we've been Mark Griffiths, Mia Roberts and Wayne Phillips from Wrexham AFC.